You ever wonder what makes a great gamer? Great gaming is not only about cheering on our teammates, but also being there to pick us up when we're down.
Guardian down!
Have you ever played Destiny with a fellow Guardian and thought to yourself, I wonder what their life is like? Questions like these spark conversation, friendship, and community. We're a Destiny 2 podcast that focuses on three things: community, news around the gaming industry and Destiny 2, and thought-provoking topics in the game. We're Guardian Downcast. Your stories, your community, your destiny. What's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 298. So close. Of Guardian Downcast. Sorry I do that. I'm your host, ToddtheGatr, and I'm a Day One Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. This week, my co-host, Kingsleymac, is with me again. How are you, sir, tonight?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
Yeah, there's still a little touch of cold I can hear, but you're definitely much better than last week. Man, this man suddenly became very ill and magically was still there to be the co-host. Man, what dedication. Hats off to you, sir.
Last week I felt worse. This week I feel better, but I have some long symptoms of coughing and stuff, and I may have to go off camera or mic a little bit, but I'm basically here.
Good deal. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Well, for those of you who have just discovered our little podcast here, we're a weekly gaming show with an emphasis on the Destiny franchise, and we like to sprinkle in some other entertainment and other topics of discussion relating to our hobbies from time to time as well. But we've been producing audio episodes for nearly 6 years now, and as the game has changed, we've changed a little bit as well. So we now produce a live version of our show on YouTube, Twitch, and now our Discord stage channel. So 3 places at once. Thank you, OBS, OBS live stream or Streamlabs. I'm using OBS Streamlabs right now. So yeah, that's a new update they just did. So it makes it so easy to multi-stream now. So I'm giving it a shot. Why not? Why not put yourself out there in different areas if you can, especially if you already have an account and everything there. So, like I said, we have 3 different chats going at tonight at once. So we'll keep an eye on all those. We do encourage you guys to put your 2 cents in if we're talking about something, and I'll try to highlight it in from the chat as well on the screen that we're looking at right now as well, just to kind of get everybody involved who's joining us tonight to talk about Bungie and talk about Destiny and whatever else we get into. So, but our podcast is live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and of course you can always have a replay of tonight's show on my YouTube channel. If you want to listen to it, especially for our European folk who are probably in bed right now. So you can always go to our website as well, guardiandowncast.com, to listen to any of our individual episodes as well on demand. In this episode, Kingsleymac and I will go over our week and share our thoughts and impressions of week 1 of Act 3 of Heresy. We'll quickly review This Week in Destiny, the weekly Bungie blog post that informs us of our current events in Destiny 2. And of course, we don't just read it out verbatim. We just give you the abbreviated version with most of the important stuff that we think you should know about. I've created something in our Discord that was actually a suggestion from one of our members, Jimmy Rayner, and that is the question of the week. Every Monday morning, I'll ask a random question. Could be Destiny related, could be life related, could be anything, whatever I'm thinking of at the time. And it's a survey. You can pick from certain A, B, C, or D, and then I'll share the results on the live show the following week. So tonight, I'll do that with our question of the week. And if you do want to participate in our question of the week, there is a channel called Question of the Week in our Discord under our Guardian Downcast section of channels. So look for that if you want to participate as well. There's been some conversations this week in the Destiny community, which I believe started publicly from a popular Destiny 2 PvP streamer, ZK Mushroom. And he went on kind of a little small rant on how the new version of Trials is going to kill the game mode, and Astrocross even weighed in on it this week as well. He not only ranted a bit about the latest game mode, but he also gave some constructive ideas of what might help sustain this new version of Trials of Osiris. And I'll, of course, have some opinions as well. as it kind of hit a nerve with me. And I just want to share my opinion on that story this week. And Kingsley, I know you're not a PvPer, but I am curious from a PvE point of view what you think of all this as well. So I'll ask your opinion at the end there too. And then finally, we'll answer community questions from our Discord. And it's a pretty chill show tonight. And I'm going to have a little surprise at the end of the show. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. We got a lot to do tonight, though, overall. So if everyone's ready and I can talk correctly, let's roll.
Hey, McMaximo here, one of the other Todds. You're listening to the Guardian Downcast, home of the coolest Discord group on the frickin' planet. Word.
All right, Kingsley. Well, let's, before we get into Destiny stuff here, and we can talk Destiny, of course, but how's your week been? You know, what have you been doing? I know you've been fighting illness, you and your wife as well. I hope she's doing better as well. And just what's been going on this week? Let's catch everybody up.
Well, yeah, I was pretty sick. The wife had it a lot worse. It was kind of starting last Thursday for me when we had our last live recording, if you catch the live shows. And I wasn't sure if I was going to make it, and it was just on the upswing of the sickness where I still made the show, and you know, the worst of it I had probably more like Saturday, Sunday, Monday was like the worst of it for me. My wife got it even worse. She said it was like the strongest sickness she's had in her life, and she actually got pneumonia also.
Oh man!
So we went to the Instacare on Sunday because, you know, I knew something was like a little bit up, and luckily, our medical services around here are still pretty darn awesome. The Instacare got in very quick. Mm-hmm. It's like a 5-minute wait, and then like a 15-minute overall thing. Oh my gosh. Although they did take an X-ray real quick too of her lungs to kind of confirm the diagnosis of the pneumonia.
Wow, that sucks.
And yeah, I mean, recovering from that, for me, I got pretty bad medium sickness, no pneumonia or secondary infections, but boy, you know, I haven't been sick for a while, and you kind of hate life when that's happening. And everyone has their things, right? But for me, we were talking about this, being able to breathe and nasal issues is just kind of like a slight bane that I have anyways, where year round, I don't have seasonal allergies like pollen or things, but there are some stuff year round, perennial allergies that, and probably having, one doctor says like I have a slight deviated septum, but I didn't want to go through that whole expensive surgery to get that fixed. So I do have low grade, slightly stuffiness in my nose anyways, year round, but it's something that I kind of get used to and I live with. But when I'm sick, holy cow. I almost swore. I almost said the F word. Holy cow.
We're past 30 seconds, man. You can throw them.
Right? It's okay. But
yeah, it's just the first 30 seconds we can't cuss.
Yeah. And so I just am in hell, can't breathe, especially at night when I'm trying to sleep. I can get panicky, everything like that.
That sucks.
So, but luckily found some that some people have known. I hope it's legit science. Don't take my word for it, but you can mix and match some nasal sprays where in the past you weren't supposed to take certain ones for more than 3 days. I won't go into all the details right now.
We talked about that last night. Yeah.
Yeah, but at least I got a concoction that helped my breathing, and
I've been using it for years.
Great.
Yeah, it's a good concoction. Yeah. He's talking about corticosteroids and regular nose spray. I've been on nose spray for 10 years, and my doctor even gave me an asthma medicine to try to reduce the stuffiness at night, because I just get it at night like you do. I just get it at night. You know, I'm moving around during the day, and at nighttime you just are slowing down. All of a sudden the mucus just kicks in, man. And,
yeah. Well, when you say regular nose spray, that's still not specific enough. I mean, they have like saline sprays. They have this is a medicated one, to be clear.
Right.
It's like
a real one, not not salt,
Yeah,
water.
it's like a the better one. It's like a O term oxy something, and it's it lasts for 12 hours. But really, the labels still say do not take for more than 3 days, because you can get rebound congestion, right? People would overdo that in the past and make things worse if they didn't need it. But supposedly if you mix them a certain way and you're careful, you actually can use it for more than 3 days on that.
I've gotten rebound. I remember taking too much in high school. That's how long I've been taking nose spray. And maybe I have some form of asthma. I think all my brother and I both have asthma. We just kind of have that little cough asthma. Yeah, little something going on in the throat. And I remember I took too much one time in high school and the nose was running and I couldn't stop it. And I'm in class, man. I'm like freaking out because I'm like, it's just bubbling up everywhere. And not to gross everybody out tonight, but dude, I've been there. I've been fighting this issue for years and years. And my doctor's been trying to fix it. But the reason I think I'm taking it lately is, and there'll be times when I don't take nose spray at all. I just take my corticosteroids, but the pollen is so thick right now in Florida with the oak trees. The oak trees are shedding. And all the blossoms and stuff we go through this every year. We got 2 different oak trees here. One drops early and then drops the pollen. And we have the older live oaks, which I have most of around my house. Those start dropping and those start throwing the blossoms and the pollen. And it's just like, man, it's just like a month of hell. So I get it. So, but what else you been up to, man?
Yeah. So other than the sickness stuff, kind of just, one thing that I may be doing, I'll save till next week, because if I do get it accomplished, no point talking about it yet, and it'll probably be Friday. So,
all right, that's fine.
Anyways, which is tomorrow. But I've been doing a little bit of gaming, not too much because of feeling tired and sick. See, for me, also, like, I don't like to game when I'm not feeling well. I like to watch TV, but then the other way around, I don't like to watch TV as much, and I like to game more. But the last couple of days I've been feeling a little bit better, and some fun things we've done recently, and we'll talk about the stuff we've done with the story. But then also, regardless of that, had a fun raid today with a lot of UK folk, and it was like a daytime thing that people joined. And I know like Heyoka was there and Proper Porridge. And me and McMaximo.
Didn't McMaximo set that raid up?
I don't think he set it up, unless he joined later because he wasn't top of the list. Let me see here.
I think he just forgot to join it and joined it later, like in the middle. But it'll say in the sesh bot. Yeah, it'll say who created it.
I know it'll say who created it.
I don't know.
That's weird because McMaximo knows better than to join right away.
Yeah, I was. If he set it up, I was proud of him because he doesn't like doing that kind of stuff. He'd just rather join it. But I'm telling you, our sesh bot is so easy to set up in our Discord if you want to get a game together.
Sesh bot is also our activity bot, just another name for that.
Sorry, yes, it is. And they just did some updates today. I was just reading through those. They have some extra features. We have the premium model because our patrons pay for it every year. We prepay for the sesh bot every year. It's prepaid for the year, and it comes straight out of our Patreon fund. And we have the premium version. So there's some premium upgrades we just got. And I'll share them with you tonight because I just got notified on Discord through their official Discord. But there's some pretty cool features I was reading about. So I'll fill you in on those.
So anyways, it was a fun time. Also had a newer-ish raider to the group, Hopefully Molly. And then, Azure Demon was also in there. And anyways, just a boring to me, quick vaulted glass, super easy work on, kind of just joke. But it was nice. I don't know if I played with Heyoka before. I'd seen some people in there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to join this one, even though it's vaulted glass, even though that's not my favorite raid, and had fun doing that. And then also, I've been having fun just grouping up with people, random things, because we'll talk more, but even though like the main structure of the story is not much and kind of boring to my eyes, there's a few extra credit things that are interesting. And I've been running this. I've been trying to get the word out for people who want to go on the strike with a preset fire team of 3, because there's these collectibles you can get. And last night, after another raid that I was watching but wasn't in, I joined up with Alicate and McMaximo and did that with them, where there's reasons to team up and run this latest strike, because you want to get collectibles, and also you don't want to, especially if you haven't experienced the strike yet, since the population isn't super high right now, usually the people that are playing are people that have been on Destiny for a while. There's not too many like new players in overall population right now. And so a lot of people tend to like run through it really quickly, which is fine when you're doing strike, just boring, grinding for loot. But when you want to experience it the first time, it's kind of sucks when people are running ahead.
Yeah, it's good to play with friends because everyone's kind of pacing themselves. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So it kind of reminds you of one of those things where, you know, they used to do this different too. When a new strike was like really important, they wanted everyone to experience it. They had like a lower level story version of the strike. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It would be built into the quest, and it was actually a very specific, different version. It wasn't the Vanguard playlist version.
It was like a dry run.
So, yeah, I wish they would do that again, because then that way it's kind of like, okay, this is the one where you go in to experience the strike, and then you can go back in on the Vanguard playlist and run through it crazy and fast if you just want to get it done. But yeah, that's interesting there.
Yeah, we'll talk about our myself, you and Sen ran a bunch of stuff last night. Yeah, we'll talk about our first week definitely.
Yeah, I know it's all kind of a blend.
It's kind of all blended. You're right. It is all blended together. But other than the first week of Heresy, anything else come across?
Well, those were the noticeable things in Destiny, and I can't think of too much else right now, so I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, one thing I will mention, and JD Kemp mentioned it, every Saturday we've been trying to run a Garden of Salvation raid, because I'm trying to get the red bars. I want to get all those weapons crafted. I mean, at least the pulse rifle, the auto rifle, the fusion rifle, and the sniper rifle is pretty good too. At least those 4 rifles I'd like to get crafted, and I'm like 1 or 2 patterns away, which goes back to my point that crafting is still RNG to a degree, because you have to get the red bars to drop, other than the one you can do through of course the weekly mission. But man, I tell you what, we had a great time. I got to give a shout out, because I forgot to give a shout out last week, but Allocate, Ronin Red Lion, Zombie Pops, Ninja Muffin, which I haven't gamed with her in years. It was just good to see her, and of course myself and Kingsleymac, and we had a great time. Like Jimmy said, we ran through it in one shot. We actually one-phased the boss at the end. What the hell? We actually getting good at this?
Not one phase, one try.
Well, one try. We didn't have to we didn't have to wipe. And that was pretty good.
Well, that'd be impressive if we won phase. That's why I had to clarify that.
Yeah, that's why you're here, to set me straight. Yeah, not one phase, but one try. Our first try, we knocked it out. So I think it was a 2-phase, right? Or 2 or 3 phase.
Yeah, it was a 2-phase.
It wasn't too bad though. But
which is pretty normal when you get a normal crew.
Yeah.
That was always possible on that raid, even before the whole Lord of Wolves,
of course,
Queenbreaker meta. But it is good to kind of.
It was, and Allocate was my moat collecting buddy in the final encounter. It was a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun playing and gaming with people in the community. And everyone says Destiny's a dead game. I disagree. I see a lot of people playing games in our Discord, and I love seeing it. And especially like this afternoon raid with the European members of our community. I love seeing that, and I wish I could have joined, but. No way, man. My boss is way too much of a dick to let me play during the day. But it's a kind of thing where I mean, almost brings a tear to my eye when I see people always in the voice chats and gaming and doing stuff. Cause I'm thinking to myself, we created that. We created this place where people can come and play. And of course, they can always go to the Guardian Finder on the app and stuff and do it that way as well. But I just love seeing people in our Discord playing games, even if it's not even Destiny, even if they're just playing something else. I just love to see people coming in here and just enjoying their time and getting to know other people in the Discord. We get a lot of new members every week. And if there's one thing I can tell new members, even if you're a little shy and you just want to kind of just lurk and hang out and just kind of feel everybody out, jump into a voice chat every now and then when you see some people in there and just say, hello, I'm a new member. My name's so-and-so, and you'll be surprised, man. We're not, most of us in here aren't dicks. We're not going to tell you, hey man, we're talking, get out of here. But, just popping in to say hi real quick. And we have certain channels where it's like a hangout or where it's a dedicated raid, voice chat or whatever. We have them labeled out, so you know what's going on in there, but it's just good to see, man. I saw a lot of that this week, and, just makes me really happy.
I want to give another shout out too,
Go for it.
which I forgot. But JD Kent was doing this thing also earlier today, and other people are going to be doing this. You'll be seeing this a lot coming up in the future, but we'll talk more about the details later. But there is this one zone on the Nether that's harder to get, and there's this one RNG based thing that's harder to get. And so what people can do is if they get it, they hold open the instance and people can join. Now, the thing is, when people come in, it causes a revive and a death. And then however many revive tokens you have will kind of depend on that. But I was able to take advantage of that. I got on and got the chest, the part for it. So I got another part of my Barrow Diet done, which was nice. So shout out to that. But look for that in the Discord, people. You'll know what we're talking about within the next upcoming weeks if you care. You can look for people saying, "Oh, I have the chest open." Although I'm sure Bungie will. I'm sure they'll change some things too going forward.
MJT2 in the chat, welcome. He says, "Man, I really need some Frontiers info and some additional Destiny motivation." We were all waiting for it, man. I mean, I'm sure some of you have heard that we finally heard something. It's very vague. There's some kind of community puzzle that I think Astrocross right now is trying to solve in his stream, and they're trying to figure out what the puzzle means and stuff. And that's probably probably what they're going to do in Marathon is have a lot of community events like that. They mentioned they were going to have more community puzzles and stuff to do, so we'll see how it turns out. But maybe we're at least hearing something from Marathon, and even if you're not a PvP player, it's just nice to see the next thing that Bungie's up to and see if it hits or bombs or whatever. But, But we, of course, my buddy Warcry and I, we played our 3 games of comp this past week. I got an okay roll of the Redrix S-Stock. I got a Desperado Zen moment with pretty quick handling mods. I was happy with that. I finished the week 3 story, of course, before getting into the next act here, Act 3, which we'll talk about here in a second. And of course, the Garden of Salvation raid was my highlight of the week. Every Saturday night at 10 p.m. I think it's 10 p.m. We try to have a group that runs with us every week. Maybe hit or miss. Maybe a new person swaps in and out depending on when they're available. But hopefully we'll be able to do that again. And again, Kingsley was sick as a dog. He didn't even know if he's going to be able to show up. And sure enough, he showed up to help out. But work's been tough. It's been really hot here in Florida. It's been 90 degrees in Florida. But the good news is Florida Gators, not only are they the SEC champs, but they are in the Final Four. And I would really love to see a UConn Florida Gators game. Wouldn't you guys? Wouldn't that be just the ultimate game to watch in a week? But tomorrow, or Saturday, I should say, we still have to go through Auburn. If we beat Auburn, then we'll be in the final championship match, and time will tell. I'm really rooting for the guys. They had a rough time with, I can't remember who they were playing. Was it the Terrapins? I've been trying to keep up with I think it was the Terrapins, and they had our number, man. And what a great game. We were behind by almost double digits with 2 minutes left. Think about it. You're down 10 with 2 minutes left, and the other team is just in the groove. They got the momentum. And we have some real ballers on our team, that just, Caldwell is our point guard. He immediately just went into crazy mode, shot 2 threes back to back, got us within striking distance. And then the rest of the team just flew in there. And, and college basketballs, they're full of a bunch of young guys. So they're very emotional, but I think all they need is confidence now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Still Zealot said he's in for Saturday. Kingsley. Just say that publicly. Man, what a game to watch. I was on the edge of my seat. I mean, that's what the Final Four is all about, right? That's what the Elite Eight is all about, is watching games like that. So I was very proud of my Gators. Hopefully I'll have a national champion shirt I'll put on next time. But, Saturday, I'm looking forward to that game. It's going to be very fun. I'm going to have to probably record it because I think that's when we're raiding. It'll coincide when we try to raid. What else did I do? I did see the finale of Severance on Apple TV, and I must admit, I didn't really like how it ended. I was expecting it to end a different way, but there is another season coming up, so we'll see what direction they go from there. I did start to watch more of Wheel of Time season 3 on Prime Video. And like I said, it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. I did watch the last episode of Suits LA. They only released 6 episodes. And I was very critical of Suits LA because it wasn't anything like the original Suits. But I have to say it ended really nicely. I feel I at least know some of the characters on the show now, and it ended on a good note. So I don't know. We'll see if Peacock or NBC renews them for another season or not. But I hope they do, because I'm just now starting to get into the groove and really like it. I also finished Dr. Odyssey on Hulu. Watched the last episode there, and I'm telling you, I still get Love Boat vibes from the 80s when I watch that show. But it's a lighthearted show. It's very entertaining. I love to play. I love watching that show as well. Just kind of my, when I'm not watching The Voice or something, it's something I can watch on a random night when I don't have anything else to do. But, other than that though, it's been pretty lean this week. My mother-in-law had another spill, and we've been in kind of emergency mode dealing with that. So it's taken a lot of our time. There's some really good movies, that we're going to see. This weekend, we're going to go see The Luckiest Man in America. Comes out tomorrow, Friday. It's about a man who is a total guru on this certain game show. It's on TV. And I guess they make a mistake and they don't vet him properly. And he ends up winning like all this crazy money. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. It's an independent movie too. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that this weekend. Some other movies coming up. Thunderbolts is probably the next, that's May 2nd. It's a ways off, but that's probably another superhero movie I'll watch. The Amateur. There's April 11th is loaded with movies. You got Warfare, the one I told you for May 24. You got The Amateur, the Drop, which is about this date that gets a text that says you have to kill this date you're on or your kids are going to get killed. I mean, it's a crazy show. The Shrouds, April 18th. And then, of course, the Accountant 2, Ben Affleck's follow-up to The Accountant, the end of April. So, no MJT2. I'm sorry, no Minecraft movie for me. I think you know what I'd think about that. And I don't have little.
It's going to be super popular and make lots of
know,
money.
but I don't have 8-year-olds in my house anymore. I don't need to worry.
Adults can like it. You don't judge adults that like that type of stuff.
Oh, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I mean, the thing I like about animated movies right now is they do make them entertaining for the adults now, because there's at least some story and some points that most parents can even teach their kids about, like a life lesson from some of these movies. I get that, but no, that's not in the cards, dude. Sorry, it's not going to be me. Yeah. Scarlett KM, is Suits LA the one that, and the guy from Arrow? I don't know. They're all new faces to me, man. I'm not really sure. Yeah. But yeah, Texas Tech, MJ22, thank you. Yeah, they gave us fits, man. I was really worried that we weren't going to win that one, and they weren't favored. So, we've been escaping. We've been escaping some of these games. So go Gators. Go Gators. That's pretty much it for me, Kingsley. I say we get into our impressions, man. What do you think?
Right on.
All right. We'll do that right after this.
Hello, everybody. You are listening to Jealous Gaming on Guardian Downcast.
This week, the final act of Episode 3 Heresy dropped. Of course, what do you do? What happens when you log in? You get this huge cutscene with Xivu Arath, who is not happy with you at all. And she has these swords who fall down on you, and then the screen blacks out. And then you're into Act 3 officially. So, Kingsley, I'll let you kind of talk us through this, because you know so much more about this than I do, because I was playing Iron Banner. I was playing Iron Banner for most of the week. But I did jump in before the show tonight and run with you and Sin as well. So, what are your impressions, man? What are your impressions of this first week of Act 3?
Well, first, I wouldn't say it's a huge cutscene. It was actually kind of short.
Oh, it was.
Unless you mean like dramatic.
Dramatic. I meant huge as dramatic. It was very dramatic. Sure. Yeah. I mean, I was scared.
It was really odd because, yeah, in fact, other people were noticing like they got a jump scare at the beginning, because like it wasn't even obvious that we should have been having a cutscene. All of a sudden that just happens. And, you know, people expect it more at the beginning of a DLC or even the beginning of an episode or something. But this was like so kind of odd and short and stuff. And it's kind of obvious the main point, but a lot of people are confused about why that was added in. Really, the biggest part that it has to play is with the new part in the Nether. The new zone that's hard to get, and because we've already been dealing with Xivu Arath and Xivu Arath being upset with what's going on, but there's like this big sword that landed. It's a huge. It looks like this bone, like metal, not metal, like rocky bone sword that's in the Nether. If you get that zone, and you can kind of see that from like the cutscene too.
I was like, is this really falling on us? Because it was a big delay, right? And you're like, is this really a real sword? And sure enough, it was. Yeah.
Well, real sword for giants.
I mean, it was a giant piece of rock or stone or something. It was crazy.
Yeah, and then in the new zone, and I'll get a little more detail in a second. But like, there's a new boss too that has to do more with Xivu Arath stuff. But anyways, I mean, that was fine enough, but Act 3 started, and everything's just kind of odd again on the whole flow of stuff. As expected, we were right about these predictions that Act 3 seems pretty light so far, and because remember when they had the Act 2 stream, they were telling us what was happening in Act 3 also, and we were like, oh yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to get an Act 3 stream, and we didn't get an Act 3 stream. So basically, what we do in Act 3, Week 1 so far, is we do a strike, and then we do some side quests if you feel like it. If you complete the side quests, there are 4 you need to complete, but you get 6, I think.
Yeah.
And if you get 4 done, it's like, congrats, Week 1's done.
Right. That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, it's kind of sad in a way. It's not that big of a deal, people, but like, if anything, it seems like the acts for Heresy are going almost downhill as far as things to do. Now, I do like the new strike. Well, it's not new, especially for those of us who have been in Destiny 1. It's a revamped strike of the Sunless Cell, and great, they have us going it right away. And you know, if you haven't run the strike, I'm not going to be giving away every little detail or anything, but don't worry about that. But boy, it's nice having this strike back in Destiny 2, because you can tell one of the biggest things, yes, graphics have changed over time, but it's all about lighting really, and everything like that. And just things are just easier to see. The bigger field of view, of course, that we have in Destiny 2.
More frames. More frames. Think about it. Yeah, 60 frames. Or 120 or 140.
Well, I usually play like at 144 even.
Yep.
But
I played at 120, I think.
Yeah. But when you are in a strike like this too, it's with all the amazing ways that things have gotten power creep over the years and cool combos and stuff that we have. The strike wasn't as hard as I was hoping it would be. Now, of course, it's going to be harder on Nightfall versions and Grandmasters, although I've heard rumors that people that have run it already say it's one of the easier Grandmasters. Okay, well, whatever. That's sad. But
yeah, Sunlit Cell. Yep.
Yeah, the Sunless Cell. But it was fun to go back in it, fun to experience that again, really just see everything again, see what's changed. Also a little bit sad at the very end when you jump in that dark pit, you can actually see some now. And in Destiny 1, you couldn't really see shit.
No.
And that's what made it such a cool experience, because the knight running around with the axe, it's like,
crazy.
Oh, where the hell is he? He's right behind me now, you know, and now you can see a little bit, but that's fine too.
Better graphics, you can probably see in darker areas a little bit better too. I don't know.
That's not exactly how it works. They can better graphics. You can actually make darker.
So do you think they purposely did it?
They could have made it darker if they wanted. But
yeah, they purposely gave us a little light.
I guess, or didn't purposely make it dark enough. Maybe it was just easier keeping the coding, you know, where it was. Because what I'm guessing is the base level of everything we've had is at a brighter level now. So for them to give it that same effect of darker, they would have had to recode more to actually make it darker. You know what I mean? It was fun to hop in. Also think it's a little bit blasphemy for those that have run the strike before in Destiny 1. the bridge at the very end before you go into the cell. You used to have a million thrall running at you. It was such a fun experience. And now we have the bats. Like, why do we have to have the the dread in the dreadnought? Just because it's the word dreadnought doesn't mean dread belonged there. And I know that's part of the seasonal story, but like, it's blasphemy. I feel like there should only be Taken or Hive in this strike, not dread.
Right.
But that's just the traditionalist in me complaining about that. Just the ways that it used to be.
It was all coming back to me. It was definitely remember berries, because it seemed a little new because I saw everything in not 30 frames anymore. But yeah, it brings back great memories, man. I did so much on the Dreadnought. I spent so much time on the Dreadnought, and I guess hopefully we'll be in that main area where the Cabal crashed their ship, but we're not there yet, right?
Yeah, we are. That's the new zone.
Oh, I haven't gotten there yet. So you have?
Okay. Well, when you said we,
I meant me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've made it to the new zone now.
Oh yeah, a few times.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, story after that, it's kind of done. It's not really any secret because you can kind of like see how many steps there are ahead of time, and it seemed like they did the same thing in Act 2, but it's going to be a very light story again. We only have 3 weeks of it again, and it only goes, I think last act it went to what step? Was it step 14 or 12? Well, it's about the same this time around. It's only about 14 steps, and so it looks like it'll be 2 weeks, and then the third week will just be a little small, probably cutscene or mission or whatever on that. So it's curious because a lot of times in the past we've had some encore mission. It doesn't mean we're still not going to get that, but usually it's a little more kind of obvious how the flow is going to be, where the story elements might be, well, they did the last time where they did all right away, but then it was like 4 to 6 weeks, and then we had maybe an encore mission. Well, this time there's 3 weeks of story, and then on week 4, we are getting the dungeon stuff on May 6th. There's going to be a little update there, but I don't know. It's really interesting what's going on here. Hard to say, and with timing and schedules and everything, I don't know. There's lots of this topic that kind of blends into other things as far as when we talk about potential Frontiers news and potential marathon stuff. So it's hard for me to kind of talk about how much I want to talk about right now, but it is interesting. It's let's put this another way. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer or anything, but this didn't get great reception as far as player count. Our high on Tuesday went up to 50,000, and for the Act 2 drop, that high was 60,000. And everything's going down again, including, we'll get into this topic too, no matter what's going on with trials, either way, there's less players, so it doesn't matter what's going on. No one's playing the game in big picture terms. I don't mean no one.
Overall.
Obviously, our community is an awesome community that plays
We're very
the game
rare.
still.
We're a rare community, that's for sure.
But today, the high was 30,000.
Wow.
We're pretty much at those record lows again.
We're back down
that's not great for what's kind of on the horizon. And sure, we might get some exciting news with Frontiers or Marathon coming out soon, but just because they announce that stuff, unless there's something also new to do in the game, is that really going to bring us back?
Just Bungie buzz, overall. And, I've heard that they're going to have a marathon, all by itself marathon, I don't know, I wouldn't say Vidoc, but some kind of spectacular.
But why would that
stream.
make us play Destiny 2 more?
It won't. That's for sure. And I was kind of wondering, well, it'll get back into my argument later tonight. It makes me kind of wonder, what is Bungie planning here? What is their plan? Is doing like a shadow release of Marathon and not tell us and just drop it. Who knows what can happen? But anyway, going back to week one. I mean, the one thing
just a couple more things.
Yeah,
you can go first. Yeah.
I just want to touch on something you said. The one thing I did like about week one, Kingsley, is I like it when they give me little bunch missions to do, even if they're mundane, like kill Thrall.
Side quests.
Yeah, the little side quests.
Yeah, you know why you like them? Because they're like bounties.
They're like bounties, exactly. And it's stuff I can. Well, it's because I can log in, later tomorrow, before when I get home from work, and I can jump on that one mini mission that I need to do to get the next shard to do whatever I need to do. So, but yeah, I just want to mention I actually like that part of it versus where do I go next, kind of thing.
Well, yeah, of course you do, but like, I guess it kind of shows the whole thing with bounties too, because these are just basically glorified bounties. And this isn't true stats, but a lot of people I was talking to is like, those are just boring, long side quests. No one really liked them. You're like the first person I talked to that liked them.
I just, me, man, I like to check the boxes. That's just my personality. I like to make sure it's done. That's why I like bounties so much.
I wish we had a creator mode in the game. I'll just create you like 1 million bounties to keep you busy. I'll say like, kill 1,000 Thrall on Monday, kill 1,000 Cabal on Tuesday, and you'll be happy as pie. And I'll be like,
I need my daily sheet, Kingsley.
Why do you like to do boring stuff?
I need my daily sheet, Kingsley. It's because it's a hobby. It's something that keeps me busy. But like we've talked about before, you can keep people busy for so long, and then eventually they're going to wonder, why am I doing all this? You gotta point it to somewhere. And Dorath's like, play Destiny 2, get skins for Marathon. Yeah, who knows? I wouldn't put it past them. All right, you had a few more points. I want to make sure you got them.
Yeah. So there is still stuff to check out, people, even though I'm going to talk about all the extra credit stuff now. So even though, there's not much going on with the story, if you like doing things that are still somewhat newish, I mean, there are some triumphs to get if you want to work towards the title, if you want to work towards getting all the things. I mean, you need to get all the worms to do all the catalyst stuff, too, for the gun. For reasons, and there's lots of reasons to go into Nether still.
Yeah,
First of all, they added another zone.
Yep.
The complaint on the street is valid right now. It's very hard to get this zone because you start off a 1 in 5 chance, right? Because there's 5 zones total now. So when you first load in, you have a 1 in 5 chance in getting it, right? So RNG there. It's kind of odd how they didn't let you pick a zone you want to go into in the long run, or have some way of doing this. And I really suspect, especially with how long this episode's going to be, I could see Bungie changing some things. In fact, I think they did say something today, like they want to make this little extra credit rare thing that people are going for right now easier to get. So this is normal. It's how it should be. It's okay to have it harder at first and then make it easier as time goes on. So 1 in 5 chance, that comes down to a 1 in 4 and then a 1 in 3 chance if you run all 3 zones. But you might even have better luck in the long run as far as saving time, just loading into the instance. If you don't get the new zone, go out. Loading in, don't get it, go out. I mean, that could take a long time too, but some people would prefer that over actually running those same zones, which you've done 1 million times, and then still not getting in on try 3. That would be demoralizing for me. So I would rather just load in. If I don't get it, load out. Load in. If I don't get it, load out. Load in.
We had a clarification here. I needed you to clarify something. Tajo in the Discord says,
yes.
Kingsley, you can't even load into the new zone. You have to clear at least.
I was just going to mention that.
First.
I heard that.
Okay.
I was going to mention that as a possibility, that I heard that it has to be the second zone at least. Now, I don't know why they're doing that, so that's annoying too. But here's the thing. If you've done the Nether enough, you kind of know, like, especially if you load into the trench way, and then after you complete the boss, if the next star is like way to the left of looking against the wall, as opposed to the right or straight ahead, then you know you're getting the new zone. So... Okay, so load in, do a zone. See, this is even more annoying. This is really sad because the new zone's fun to see. I'm even more depressed now. Thanks, Tasha. They need to do something about this because look, this is not RNG as far as weapons. This is RNG as far as getting areas, but built on stuff. And when you're going after a reward at the end of activity, you have that same RNG chance every single time. But this is varying RNG where there's different zones and you can't even get all zones the first time you load in. Then it's a rotating chance depending on what zone you've done so far. This is just frustrating for, I think, everyone involved. Even people that like RNG for weapons like me don't understand why they're doing this, because this is a different type of like whole beast here. So anyways, but in the new zone, there is this thing you'll hear people talking about in the Discord of holding the instance open. There's this chest you can get with, which will be one of the last catalysts things for the Barodiad. And it's very hard to get if you're trying, because there's some prereqs that you need. Plus, you need to get that zone. Plus, you need to look for like a Tolan thing. So like 3 levels of RNG of all varying kinds. This is like reminiscent of probably even worse than when we were going after the Braytech Osprey. Remember in year 1, that really hard triumph in that strike?
Yeah. No one ever. And I got that triumph Wayfarer.
Yeah, I got it too.
It was the Osprey. That was the only thing I was waiting for to get done. Yeah. I'm proud of that title. That was a lot of work and a lot of time getting that title.
I forget what that title was called. If anyone remembers,
Warfare.
In the chat.
Wayfarer.
Wayfarer?
Wayfarer.
I think it was a different one.
No, it's Wayfarer. Believe me, I know it.
Okay.
Wayfarer. Wayfarer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, anyways, this is kind of reminiscent of that stuff. We haven't had like this type of an RNG for a while. Again, where things like build upon each other as opposed to like just straight up weapon RNG. So it's interesting. But there's that extra credit stuff. Getting the worms. Remember, for people, you have 20 total worms you can get. There's 5 zones. Each zone has 2 worms. But remember, there's 2 tracks. You can be on Resolve or Path of Ambition. Path of Resolve, Path of Ambition. And so depending on what path you're on, you have a different instance of worms in the Nether. So Path of Resolve, 10 total you can get in each 5 zones. And then Path of Ambition, 10 total you can get in each 5 zones. So yeah, it's extra credit points there, extra credit for all the catalyst stuff. So for people that like to do all these little extra things, still a few things to do on that. But I am curious what people think about this story so far, and what are your plans? Are you excited? Assuming they don't announce anything else, are you excited for the dungeon stuff? I don't know. For me, until we hear something else, once this story stuff's done, I don't have any real reason to come back other than raiding. And for you, it would be PvP and stuff.
Iron Banner, Iron Banner and Trials. For me, that's what I look forward to doing. And my weekly comp 3 missions. Get my another crack at the Redrix S-Stock, even though it's been nerfed twice now. I think it's still. I can definitely feel it's lost a little bit of its pop, but I still like the gun. We just don't have many of those battle rifles in the game, so just for convenience sake, I like having it around. But yep.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I really don't think you've covered it beautifully. I don't. There's really nothing more I can add.
I don't know. There really wasn't a story. The story was that cutscene at the beginning, and then they told you to do a strike, and then they told you to do a bunch of side quests.
Gave us a laundry list.
Story. That's kind of like stretching the definition of what story should be.
It worries me too, because Act 2's story, I think, started off a lot better, if I remember correctly, and it carried us through the
I'm sure the week 3 ending part will be great or whatever, but still, like, what are we going to be doing after 3 weeks from now?
That's just it. How is all this going to tie together into Frontiers? That's what's driving me nuts. I'm trying to figure out how.
Well, things never do tie together perfectly. Even in previous years, we always had the story and then like 3 months because things got delayed, and then maybe they had an encore somewhere in between. But it never really ties perfectly. Always what they do every single time is they have a cutscene at the very end that leads to the new stuff. So
I'll have to see, I guess.
What doesn't need to tie together? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you were expecting some magical new thing we were getting or whatever, but yeah.
That's fair, because this is officially a prologue, right? So that makes sense. It doesn't have to tie in. I keep forgetting this is a prologue. It's not.
No, this is the epilogue. Prologue means something after a big thing, so this came after Final Shape?
Yeah. So, epilogue, then you're right. Yeah, that's right.
Prologue means something that comes before the... a new big thing.
So it's not a prologue. It's definitely an epilogue. I'm thinking it's a prologue, like it's something it's going to carry us into Frontiers, and it doesn't necessarily have to. So maybe it's somewhere I'm not looking that I don't need to look. Well, I don't need to be looking for that.
But I'm sure we're still going to be using this prediction was like not that big of a deal to me. Like everyone saw this, so it wasn't an interesting prediction. But like I'm sure we're still going to be using the Dreadnought in some capacity to get out of the solar system. But all that could mean is a cool cutscene at the beginning of Frontiers, right? It may not be like, well, we're building the engines and going around the solar system, taking a sightseeing tour and all these big exciting things happening. And then all of a sudden we're there like a day before. No, it might just mean we're there at the start of Frontiers. you know?
That could be.
So,
we keep talking about, we're going to take the Dreadnought out of the solar system and then we're going to crash. And we've all had different stories and renditions on what we think would happen, or how they tie it into the next type of thing, but maybe we're just looking too much into it. We're just fans.
So I know we're not looking into the Dreadnought thing too much because there was even lines that said, the Oryx is like basically impressed with us and on our side. That is one thing to kind of mention about, there was a little bit of like lines where it seems like, remember, we've kind of been tenuous buddies with Savathun. Well, right now, and of course, Ziva Wrath, we've never been buddies there, but like right now, Oryx is upset with Savathun and Ziva Wrath.
Yeah.
I don't know what he thinks about Ziva Wrath, but he's definitely upset with.
He thinks it's pathetic. The sword logic is pathetic. It's weak.
And it's the heresy too, all the things she wants to do. Again, the light, he does not want to use the light ghosts and stuff. So Oryx is at least impressed that we bested him, and he gives us basically his 2 thumbs up to use his navigation echoey thing to, I'm sure we'll probably be using the Dreadnought to get out of the solar system. But other than just that basic fact, there's not much else we know right now with all that. But I do think it's cool, though, being on more Oryx's side than Savathun and Ziva Wrath. And Ziva Wrath is still the wild card. We're like, yeah, she's involved with throwing shit at us from time to time, but I don't know.
She's not happy. She's not happy. Yeah, and then we haven't even talked about Ride of the Nine. I've heard that's coming sometime in May. So
May 6th. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out how that's going to tie in.
Well, we did talk about it. I talked about it. That's the dungeon stuff.
Well, yeah,
and
it's like an Into the Light kind of remake, same kind of thing, but a different,
not even
different
close.
system.
It's like a tenth of the size, and
but
not even that many people are interested in it. Like,
true. Yeah, and it's tied to dungeons too. Dungeon and encounters too, which not everybody's crazy about dungeon encounters. So, yeah. Didn't Dead Orbit leave the system? Maybe we are going to reconnect with them. Be missing my goth friends from. I don't know, man. I think Bungie killed all those factions a long time ago.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Don't think they're going to be bringing that back. They wanted that gone. I mean, they killed them with a vengeance in the storyline. They just said they all split. They all just bailed ship. Just took off. Never to be seen again. And I think that's an open and closed story. JD Ken. I don't know if they're going to bring back Dead Orbit. Hey, I miss them too. I miss the factions. I think to me is a way they can improve more of the camaraderie and pride in what you're representing. Kind of like this. There was other games out there that had factions too that were really cool. That played on that same thing. And I just think they cut themselves short by doing that. But that's another topic for another time. But anything else, Kingsley, we want to mention here? I don't want to get too spoilery, but there's not really much to spoil, is there?
That's of course, we'll continue talking about, the next couple of weeks, what we know with the story and the interesting things that are going on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like I said, it's a chill show. Chill show tonight. Let's do this, Kingsley, before we move on. Let's see what's up with This Week in Destiny this week. Let's just touch base on that real quick. I heard it's a real short twab this week, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to This Week in Destiny.
Hey, this is Mr. Monkey, not Killer Monkey, not Monocle Monkey, Mr. Monkey. Get your bounties done. You're listening to Guardian Downcast.
All right, This Week in Destiny for April 3rd, 2025. Man, April is here. That's crazy, man. I'm going to the UK in June, and we're working on getting our passports. And, man, that's 8 weeks away, man. You know how quickly 8 weeks is going to fly by? I'm going to be in the UK, man. That's going to be so cool. I can't wait. This week in Destiny, we've delved too deep, maybe too greedily. And we had to fight a legendary foe shrouded by darkness. It could have been the Guardian's Bane were it not for our allies' guidance. Oh, but you don't know what we're talking about? Then we urge you to go play Act 3, but only after you've read this little light twid we have for today. And the only thing really we need to mention here, they talk about playing Act 3. I mean, there's not much here, but I'll just read it. It's just a real brief. Do we not even need to mention it? I mean,
if you read it word for word, then you're going to get what you said. And if you paraphrase, it's everything we already talked about.
We've already talked about this, so we're gonna move on.
But you should at least read the third paragraph.
Act 3. Act 3 also brings new encounters and spaces to the Nether, new bosses and hazards to the Court of Blades, and there are still many great rewards to earn, like the remaining pieces of the Barrow Dyad. The very round, yes, exotic SMG can now be 100% completed with One for All and Target Lock as its third and fourth catalyst, as well as its final intrinsic. While the weapon does drop upon completion of the derealized exotic mission, its catalysts are unlocked in ways we don't spoil here. The only thing we can tell is that no matter if you choose Resolve or Ambition, these are the two forms of the slab, both versions of the weapons are very strong with the new perks. When we wrap Act 3 story, it's time for update 8.2.6. There will be a slight sandbox tuning update, the new heavy metal game mode, and also Rite of the Nine. You will have seen a little date on our product page. Good things come to those who wait. Stay tuned for more details. Yeah,
that's the May 6th date. It's not even a secret.
Right.
I don't know why they didn't write it in here also.
Gotcha.
Anyways, yeah, we have the 3 weeks of story, and then there might be a week in between, and then May 6th is when we get update 826, and then heavy metal game mode. I forgot about that.
Yep.
Funny enough, I doubt I'll be in it tons, but I'm more excited about that than the Red of the Nine stuff.
I want to play a Brig. I can't wait to play a Brig. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Even the tank would be okay, but I'm really excited about the Brig.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Maybe we have a community night where I'll just jump in there and just be funny.
We better.
Be crazy and nutty. Don't forget your Guardian Games jersey. The Titans, of course, won. And no matter what team you fought for, we're proud of you. And we hope you have a great time and friends in Rushdown and Supremacy, and that you got the weapon rolls you were after. You know, I have to admit, I did not play a ton of Guardian games this time around, because I grinded so much last year for it. I went crazy last year. I got so many good rolls of all their weapons that they have. And once I got a decent roll of the new trace rifle, I was pretty much done. I really had no motivation to play any more of it. So, so I do want to get this jersey though. I love the Bungie merch. It's such good quality. And, so I guess you have until June 10th, at reset to, get it. So I need to definitely do that. Iron Banner is on. Of course, you know, Iron Banner is, on right now until reset, which will be tomorrow if you're listening to this on an audio podcast. But they do say that it is coming back April 29th. It'll be back again. So if you didn't get everything done this week, don't fret. Don't fret. Yeah, you can cut. It'll be back in April 29th. And they do say that they have more plans for Iron Banner's weeks in the future. They'll share more details on that coming at a later date. So just want to mention that, you know, cause I think we've been talking about that when we were playing Iron Banners. Like, now is this the last Iron Banner? We got to turn everything in this time, or no, you still have one more Iron Banner the end of April. If you don't get all your shaders and, your emblems and stuff, which I'm still working on my emblem. I've been slacking
at
this
least
time.
One more.
Yeah,
at least we'll hear news where they do even more.
Yeah, and my hope for Iron Banner is that the one thing I loved about Iron Banner and Destiny 1 was all the new weapons they brought every time it came around, and I really hope they continue to do that. I know that takes a lot of human capital and resource to make those weapons, but going for those new weapons is so much fun, and not just one extra weapon. Let's throw 3 or 4 weapons in there, you know? Anyway, I digress. National Stress Awareness Month. I did want to mention this because our friends over at we have a lot of partners when it comes to mental health. April's National Stress Awareness Month, and we're proud to introduce Mental Health at Bungie Inclusion, Diversify, and Equity Association. IDEA for short. Mental health at Bungie was created at Bungie in the late 2023 as a hub for Bungie employees to discuss mental health and neurodivergence, which that's me, share personal stories and find community. Their mission is to provide a safe place for folks to be themselves, unmask, and lead to conversations to destigmatize caring for one's mental health. This year, to honor the importance of mental health well-being, Mental Health at Bungie is launching the Love is the Mind Saver emblem in support of Guardians Mental Health. And that's what I was trying to say, Guardians Mental Health. Chris 711, he was once a big part, or he probably still is a big part of Guardians Mental Health. And I'm in their Discord here, and we've partnered with them in the past and supported them. And I've donated, I think we had a contest one year where we donated $100 to Guardians Mental Health. So it's a nonprofit. They began as a small group of dedicated guardians aiming to make a positive impact on people's mental health and well-being. Now the organization is committed to delivering evidence-based tools, resources, and strategies, each carefully vetted by mental health professionals on their team, with no financial barriers to many of the organization's initiatives like mental health kits and the free-to-download mobile app. Guardians Mental Health continues to evolve, providing invaluable support to individuals around the world. In honor of National Stress Awareness Month, everyone that makes a $10 donation to Guardians Mental Health, please do it, because it is a great organization, through the Bungie Foundation campaign, will earn the Love is the Mind Saver emblem for Destiny 2 through April 30th. All net proceeds will go to Guardians Mental Health, minus Tiltify, of course, their processing fees. So, yeah, the emblem looks really nice. Really cool. Has like a brain on it. It's really neat. So, yeah, support those guys. They've been with us a long time. And in fact, Chris, 3711, he gave us a lot of that mental health kits. And if you look in our Discord, we have a section at the very bottom called We Got You. And there's all kinds of mental health kits that Chris 3711 gave us. And he created all that in that channel for any of you who, are up against it, and just need somewhere to just vent and check out. And we have a Guardian Vent channel as well, where people want to vent. If there's something going on in their life, you can vent and maybe not want advice, but just want to be heard. So we try to have those outlets in our Discord, and we've had them ever since we started this server a long time ago. So, player support report. Kingsley, anything we need to know about this? Anything it said, that it's not too big a list. The Ionic Sentry sometimes doesn't chain lightning enemies. That's not good.
No, that's been there forever. We've mentioned that one before,
so
too.
This is like a laundry list of stuff, but hopefully it keeps getting smaller. But yeah.
Well, no, they added a few new ones because of the new act that came out. But it was right at the top. Okay, I'm pulling it up here
Sunless
right now.
Cell.
Yeah, Sunless Cell.
Grandmaster.
It's not available in Fireteam Finder. So, I guess you got to find another way of joining up.
Yep. Like, join our Discord. Say, hey, I want to run the Grandmaster. Who's with me? Heck, Soccer jumped in the other day and said, anybody want help with, he created an event. So he can help, and he's put me through so many Grandmasters. Such a great guy. Such a great dude. And he's not even playing Destiny a whole lot right now. He's playing a lot of other games as well. So good on you, Soccer, for reaching out and helping folks to get their Grandmasters done. I might even take you up on that, sir, one of these days. But other than that, shit's broken pretty much, right? Yeah. Shit's broken? That's what I thought. Okay. All right. That's it for this week in Destiny. That's good because we got some other stuff to do here, and we're going to be doing that right after this. Hey, Guardians. I just wanted to introduce our new sponsors who will be placing ads in the podcast this next season. Zero. Thank you, Patreon community, for your continued support that keeps the show going. And if you're interested in giving back to the podcast, check out the Patreon button on our website, GuardianDownCast.com. Later, Guardian. All right, for my topic of the week, this is based on a video that ZK Mushroom put out called Trials is Dying. Now, he mentions the Destiny 1 Trials of Osiris. He talks about how that actually saved the Destiny franchise, and I agree. When Destiny was having hard times, when they didn't know if Destiny was even going to continue, I remember tuning in every weekend to my favorite streamers to watch and see how they were going to do in trials this week. Even if I didn't play trials, I love watching it. It was so much fun to watch. I mean, that's how I found out about True Vanguard, Grenadier Jake, even Gathalion used to play trials before he played other games. But he talks about about the remake of the trials and how he says, man, it's just not sustainable because it's all about the loot now and not for people who love to play trials. He says, this is why I play most activities in Destiny 2. This is why I play a bunch of activities in Destiny 2. It's a looter shooter. So, of course, I'm not going to be crazy about getting a rocket launcher in trials this week. But he mentioned some things here that might make people play more. And I agree. I like some of these ideas he has, but it is a looter shooter. I mean, people are only going to play because of the loot. And if, the diehard.
Well, that's not the only reason they're going to play.
I know, but I know the diehard PvP players out there are always going to play regardless, and they don't even care about loot. I mean, I play with my buddies in Warcry and HD Tech, all these guys who play Crucible every week. They play just to have fun. I don't even think they care what drops they get, but it's just fun competing, I guess. But his complaint is that the normal casual players will only jump in when the loot is good. And, it started out with 300,000 people, but it keeps seesawing every week, depending on what the adept weapon is for the week, what loot's being offered. My contention with this is, how is that my problem? It's up to Bungie to create the loot system and the loot chase for all the different weekly activities. And like I said, a rocket launcher just doesn't get me excited to play trials. I have a ton of rocket launchers that I don't ever use. Why would one more rocket launcher in trials make me get excited? So whoever's picking the loot chase for the weekly trials events, maybe they need to look at some other stuff that they can bring back. So maybe some blast from the past stuff they can bring back that used to be in Destiny 2 trials. I mean, they need to do something here, but I, for one, think the new system in trials is really good. It's brought a lot. I mean, look at the numbers. 300,000 people played the first week. I played the first 2 weeks of trials once they changed it. The player base was really high. I think it took me an hour and a half to go to the lighthouse both weeks, because there were just plenty of players to play. You didn't get slammed into a bunch of sweaty players like all at once. Just a bunch of players like me who just want to get their loot, want to go to the lighthouse for their first time. And we had a lot of people who said, man, I got to the lighthouse my first time ever. What, this is so cool. And isn't that what it's all about? I mean, I know there's a lot of elitist players out there who think that, you should have to go flawless to get to the lighthouse, but dude, this game's been out for 11 years now. I mean, I think it's a good thing that they're making it more available for people to have that experience, because what's our option as a casual player? We either got to use the carry services, we got to get into a raffle with a streamer, or we got to pay someone to carry us and get our loot to get to the lighthouse and do the flawless runs. And I'm not going to do that. If I'm going to try and get flawless, I'll go as far as I can. But to me, it's so much fun to be able to just get those 7 wins, know that I put the time in, and just get to it and get it done. But like I said, I don't think that's our problem as players. That's up to Bungie to create the loot incentive to play the game. And, he's kind of throwing it on the casuals that we only play it because of the loot. Well, that's the reason why we play trials, is because we want to go to the lighthouse. We want to see that big box open up with a bunch of stuff thrown out. And man, the loot chase, the loot that comes out of those boxes is the most I've ever seen in any activity. Even Nightfalls doesn't even come close to the loot that I get from that lighthouse chest. But he does mention, what if they actually put a random adept weapon in that final loot box, where if you're playing, say I don't want to play for the rocket launcher, right? Well, what if an adept auto rifle pops out of it, that I don't have? Maybe there's a chance. And I would be okay with that as long as the chances are good. It's not like a 1% chance or maybe a 40% chance that I can get a different weapon to come out adept, because they throw you so many weapons as it is. But he also mentions the things like in the past, like the cosmetic rewards, the glows. And he thinks, right now you get a crown glow on your head for 5 wins or 7 wins or flawless. He would like to see it go even higher to like 15 and 20 flawless wins. And I'm fine with that as well. I mean, those cosmetic, rewards that make people stand out. That's why a lot of people play the game as well. They want to feel special and they want to express their skill that when they play trials, that's why people have the emblems with how many flawless runs they've got. It's the same kind of thing. He thinks that the solo freelance playlist should come back. And, I don't really mind helping out a duo as long as the games are not card based. Because right now they're not card based. It's just totally random skill. And if you're lucky and the RNG gods are treating you well and you get some good teammates in that 7th win, I think that's the way it should be. It should be a little bit of RNG in there because that's what makes it fun to play. You're hoping to get those 2 teammates that are going to help you out if you're playing solo. But if it goes to freelance, then you're going to split that player base again. And then you're going to have the same old problems of duos going against trios and having very little way of backfilling those fire teams. But the problem I see right now in trials is the gamers are always going to try to game a new system. And the thing I've noticed lately is that the non-flawless, the first attempt to get to the lighthouse pool, it now feels like the flawless pool. I feel like some of those same old carry services, that are getting paying customers to get their 7 wins for them. I think what they're doing is they're resetting their cards early or like getting 3 or 4 wins and then just resetting and then just sending their carry on their way to the lighthouse and then resetting their card and doing it over again. So they're always in that beginner pool, even though they're really good players. And that's the one thing I'm noticing. And of course, Astrocross, was talking about it this week as well. There's people there's teams that are win trading. I mean, all kinds of underhanded stuff, but people try to game the system. They try to make it where they don't have to play against competitive players. And one thing that ZK said here is once you do go flawless for the week, it is really, really tough to find the pool is just so small, which goes back to my point is I think a lot of flawless players out there are getting paid carries to get people those 7 wins and then just resetting their card. And then maybe at the very end, they run their 7 flawless wins and get their loot. But I mean, what do you think of all this, Mike? I mean, I know it's a player base issue. I know we've talked about this, but,
Well, first I really should have watched the video in more detail. I watched a little bit of the Astrocross one, but not enough to hear the full issue. Because I'm hearing some inconsistencies from him and or you, how you're describing it. Is the issue that there's too much loot or not enough loot? Because you at first you made it sound like everyone has everything they want, but then at the same time, if loot was the issue, then how come he's describing more loot? Because when that just happened again?
His complaint is that, like, excuse me, like the first week it was a hand cannon. Everyone wanted the hand cannon, so they played. Second week was Aisha's care. It was the heavy burst pulse rifle, which is what I played for. And I even played for that rifle when this new system wasn't in place. I did the one card they had at the time is that as long as you got back-to-back wins, it would keep adding until you got your 7, and then you can go to the lighthouse or get your adept Aisha's care for the week. I did it before this new system came out, but he's saying that he loves seeing, new players come to trials, but he's tired of the fact that people are just getting their loot in the first couple days and then playing something else. But that's really it's not our problem.
No,
man.
no. Well, I don't care that he's tired, but what's his premise of why people are leaving? Because they got what they want and then they don't come back. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah. He's like, why aren't people playing just for the love of playing the game? He says they're only playing for the loot, and he says it's just not sustainable. People are they're going to get their loot and leave. So how does Bungie make this sustainable? And he threw a couple ideas out there. Yeah.
Okay. But wasn't it always like that?
It was even
What's
Trials was so elitist. Trial is the most elitist game mode, and it is an end game mode for PvP. All right, let's get that straight. But I would say
on the loot thing.
Yeah.
So wasn't it always just a certain weapon per week?
It's always been that way. Yeah, it's always been a certain weapon.
I don't understand.
But you can. There are weapons in the Saint 14 track that you can unlock as you play and get experience, and as you get. As you get engrams as well that drop every game. I mean, the one thing about this new system, Kingsley, they're dropping engrams all the time. You're getting armor that's falling. No matter what game you're playing, this stuff's just falling.
I think I know what he's saying then. And in a way, he has a point, but okay. I think what he's trying to say is it's so much easier to get the loot now for whatever weapon it is per week. Because all the Ingrams, it's easier to go flawless these days, everything like that. Yeah. So, because look, the loot thing doesn't really matter too much because all games are eventually going to have a problem with that. And Destiny probably has more loot than most games, and people like other games and they play them for a long time, even sometimes longer than Destiny. But so it's a combination of how much loot versus how easy or hard it is to get. It can't just be about loot, and it can't just be about how easy or hard it is to get. I still think the issue of why he thinks it's dying is not this reason, but because population's down in general right now. Like,
I mean, welcome to the club, Jake. You know.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so maybe there's some people that would maybe play more if they haven't gotten the loot yet. So, but I wonder where that line is, because the line was too far away before where people didn't want to play at all, right? Because Trials was hard. And so we know for a fact there's people in our community that did hop into Trials because they made it a lot more forgiving, or whatever word I'm looking for. So I guess if we can run the analytics, or Bungie can run the analytics, those people that they brought in, even if they got their loot really quickly, so they're gone now maybe, is that still better, or would it have been better with more people in general if it was still the harder system that only people are playing that are okay waiting week after week if they finally go flawless or finally get the RNG or something like that? I think that's the interesting discussion. And honestly, again, it may not make that much of a big difference unless the population again is up higher, because look, either way, no matter how the loot is, remember the numbers I was reading earlier? When Trials Revamp first came out a month or so ago, however long it was.
It's been about that.
Sorry.
It's been about that.
It was a pretty good hit, but now people, I think people wanted, these were all good changes. People wanted to see what was new. But it just shows how Bungie is in such a bad situation right now, where they can make all these cool things, but it's still not enough to keep people coming back that much. And it's all stuff that's obvious to me. It's like, that's why we have to have so much more of a dramatic change. Like, maybe we'll get, with the way the population is right now, maybe if the loot was a little bit harder to get, then it will keep some of those people grinding week after week. But then you'll lose some of the people that don't like that harder system. So it really is hard to say, with how low our population is right now, what system is better. I still think, forget the population numbers for a second, I still think it was good that they made all these changes. And now, I'm not a PvP main player, but just from word on the street, talking to people, and again, I always have this thought in the back of my mind, and Bungie's done this consistently too, and a lot of games have. It always makes sense to make things that were once hard easier to get. So that can be PvE or PvP. And probably the best point he makes, I was trying to read comments on his YouTube video where we say
always a good way
to. A lot of people said he made some really good suggestions on what they can do on the high end. Wow. And that's obvious. So like, if you're going to make things easier now to bring those players in, you got to add some things on the high end too, to keep those players interested. That would be the people that would come week after week if they don't get that thing yet, right? Because some people will do that. Other people don't want to do that. But then on the other end, some people are coming in now to do that. So I still think the bigger reason why Trials is dying right now is population, not because of the changes Bungie made. I think the changes they made were fine. And yes, he probably has a point that they need to make some changes on the high end side of it too, to keep it interesting.
I think so. I think they need to go. They've definitely casualified. I mean, for lack of a better word, Trials, definitely. I've heard top tier players say, "Listen, man, I don't care what they do. We just need more players in the pool." I don't care
Exactly.
what, I just want more players to play against. And they did it. And when I first
Only
read
for like a week or two.
well, I mean, I think it changes depending on the weapon available. And, and of course,
It's gone down every single week.
well, I can tell you why it's gone down. It's because the carry services have gotten smart. They've said a lot of these sweaty players who are playing twos, carrying a third person who maybe doesn't play all the time, who can't get the 7 wins, and they're pushing, they're carrying them, stomping on the beginning pool, never going to the flawless pool. And if you get enough player teams that are duos that are doing that for money or to help their friends out or win trading or whatever, then the population is just going to say, you know what? Screw this, man. I'm going to go play something else. There's a lot of other things I can play and not be so miserable. So, and I mean,
I don't think that's the main reason everyone's
think
thinking.
so.
And when they log into Destiny for the week is like, what's the carry service like this week? But
yeah.
Population's down either way. You have to admit
It definitely affects everybody across the board. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. JD can't. High-end players not getting their dopamine hit. Yeah.
Or else, if the weapons really had as much to do with it as you thought, Todd, you would see like a future week go up higher than a week before. Yeah. But every single week, it's been going down.
It's going down. And he even in his video would even show some of the charts. He would say, well, see, it was 300,000 here. It was only 200,000 here. Then it only went to 100 here because it was a this map or something. And I mean, that's just players are going to play what they want to play. I mean, give us map voting or something if you're worried about that kind of stuff. But Gator,
does he claim to have numbers for just PvP? I don't think anyone has those numbers, right?
I'm not sure. Well, they do have an ELO system, and JD Kent's like, Gator, you only play PvP to show off your ELO. Believe me, my ELO does not show well. My play style does not agree with the ELO system. I'm not a real big fan of the ELO system because win-loss rate is not the only way to measure a person's skill. And I'm just going to say it because my ELO is very poor in comparison to a lot of my friends. It's just the way I play the game. It's my style of play. It does not bode well for ELO systems. But I wanted to mention something because Tajo mentioned something in the Discord here. I want to read this. He goes, I played the first weekend of the change. I got my armor set I wanted and haven't touched it again. Grenader Jake went on like 100+ win streak after this new change. It's wild. It still feels like Trials is so skewed towards in-game PvP, which it is. But it also helps me from playing it but also keeps me from playing it since I don't want to play something for hours on end with no reward. Exactly, Tajo. Respect the player's time. In the past, I would play a whole weekend of Trials, and what would I end up with? A couple tokens. It was that bad, man. I get a couple tokens? What am I supposed to do with these damn things? I can't do anything with this. Where's my gear? You couldn't get any of the gear unless you made it.
We don't need to talk about what happened in the past. Haven't they made it better?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though.
But he's claiming they haven't made it better. So what is it? Because you said it's better. He says it's not better.
Well, see, that's the thing, Tajo. All you have to get is 7 wins. I mean, and as far as respecting the player's time, they have definitely made that change better because every game, win or lose, you're getting engrams. You're getting engrams, you're getting weapons, you're getting armor. And yeah, I agree. I got my armor very quickly as well. I don't really care about the armor until they redo the armor system, which we haven't heard anything about yet. So we'll have to see.
We've had this discussion before. Everyone has different definitions of what respect the player time means anyways. Yeah. But they've definitely made things easier to get. Whether you had a hard time or not, Tajo, everyone agrees it's easier now than it was.
It's so much easier. Trust me. I played years and years. Ago, It is so much, it's worse than 2 tokens in a blue, JD Kent. It was literally like 2 tokens that you can't even use because you don't have enough of them. It was pathetic, man. I'd spend all weekend just grinding to try to get a win with, trying to get, 2 other guys that would want to play, and they'd bail quick because they'd realize how hard it was. It just wasn't a friendly place unless you had a team of 3 that played every week, that you play PvP with every week. You know how each other plays, and you've gotten really good at PvP. That's what Trials was for, but now they're trying to make it more available. They're throwing loot at you, and if you do happen to get those 7 wins, they really throw the loot at you. So depending on your win streak too, because it's not just, hey, you made it to the lighthouse, but you're only on a 2 win streak. Well, you're not going to get quite as many rewards as say a 5 win streak or a flawless win streak. You're going to get even more. It's crazy the loot they throw your way. So, one just special note here. This is probably a a public service announcement here. Tajo Trade mentioned that Bungie just posted this. We have resolved an issue where players weren't being launched into the Nether's hull breach. This will be the only area players will initially spawn into next week. Yeah. Just tested and loaded directly into the hull area. It is better, yes, but it can still take a while to get to that lighthouse. I'd rather run a raid or something than fight a battle for a couple hours. Like I said,
you're all over the place.
I am all over the place. I'm just trying to get that information out for people who we were just talking about that subject.
I want to talk about both points eventually. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's better. Mohafos says, like Kingsley said, it's better, good to make things that were difficult to get easier now. I think it is too, because we're so late in the stage of this game. I think it's time. Let's make it available to people. Anyway.
Well, okay. And that's a fun point too. On the thing, and I believe I said this on the podcast, but it solves the thing. Okay. And I'm not I've actually been in the Lighthouse once with a team that helped me, but I'm not, a big PvP player or really care, but I can still kind of know what's a good system to run. And as far as making things easier over time, there was one small argument. Is like, well, Lighthouse should still be exclusive, but I believe I said, well, even though they're making it easier for people to get to the Lighthouse, they should still have a extra little roped off section of the Lighthouse where if you go true flawless,
right, that
you get that area, right? Yeah. So even though they make it easier for everyone to get to the Lighthouse, they should have also at the same time made a higher level for the players that are really good for something else, right?
Yeah.
That would have solved that problem.
That I agree. That's a great idea. It's a great idea. Have a dark zone lighthouse that only the flawless players get to go, and they all can hang out and have their black hair parted over and their emo dark makeup on and stuff. Never mind. Anyway, that's showing my age. But it's a great idea, man. That's a great idea. But here's the thing. Kingsley. What they did is they looked and said, what makes Iron Banner so popular? Because Iron Banner gets the numbers every time. Just about every time they get good numbers. When it's Iron Banner week, it typically does better than Trials weeks. I know you can probably prove me wrong. There's probably a few weeks that is different. Yeah, but because they don't play Trials that's the reason they did that, is because the Iron Banner would take so many players away from Trials that Trials would be a desert. No one would want to play Trials that weekend, and only the diehard players that are probably complaining.
I wish we had PvP stats, because I'm just saying in general, this week is down compared to last week. But.
Yeah, I mean we're in that spiral. It's the end of the epilogue. If I get that right, it's the end of the epilogue, and we're getting into uncharted territory now. And I wanted to talk to you about that, but maybe we'll bring that subject up about Frontiers. Maybe we'll hear something more in the next week. Maybe next week we'll bring that subject up, because I'm looking at time here. But I just want to end on this.
Well, I still have two more points too.
Oh, you do? Oh, I'm sorry, man. Sorry. Oh, no. Go ahead. What other points did you have?
So many points that I don't get a chance
well, hey, that's
respond.
my ADHD, man. I have to talk what's off the top of my head. I apologize if I've cut you off. It's not my intent.
Because then on the topic of, Todd was saying it's better, yes, but it still can take them a while to get to the Lighthouse. I'd rather run a raid or something. That just goes back to the topic of everyone has different reasons for playing, and you can never appease everyone. So we need the population up in general, because if you can get the population up,
right,
then even if it's not perfect for some people with how it is, then enough people will be playing and stuff. And then the last point was back how you kind of mixed in that topic on the live change about the Nether's whole breach. This is great news, because
I saw a ball.
We definitely need to bring this up, because we were just saying earlier in the episode how it's broken.
Yes.
That's amazing that Bungie fixed it that quickly.
Excellent.
That's a huge win.
Yes, it is.
So go back to what I was saying. You can just load in. If you don't get that new area, go out, load in, go out. I still think they may or should do something on top of this even, because there's still a bunch of other little weird RNG things. I won't get into all the minutia of it right now.
That's fine.
But this is great news. Thanks for letting us know, Tajo.
Yeah, thanks, Tajo.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Todd.
That's why I love the live shows, because people can just chime in right off the top of their head. And unfortunately, if I see a squirrel, I'm going to go after it. Jesus, Todd. But no, my point is my thing I wanted to end on here is they would Bungie's not dumb. They look at Iron Banner and they go, what is it about Iron Banner that makes people show up to play? It's because they respect the player's time. You win or lose a game, you're getting XP toward your Iron Banner track. They're giving you nice rewards. I mean, the weapons are really cool. I mean, you got a rocket sidearm. You got the new trace rifle. It's out there now. And not to mention the oldies but goodies that still are good, all good weapons that are all viable. But the thing is, it's a 6v6. It's more of a casual, competitive, if there's such a word. It is competitive, but it's kind of casual. When I played on Tuesday, right at reset, I played that night with the community. We had ups and downs. We had games that we were just getting slammed. And then we'd have games where we were like, oh, that was a great game. So that's the nature. Fluffy Fingers MD told me this a long time ago. Man, it's Iron Banner. It's chaos. That's what it is. It's supposed to be chaos. And once it clicked in my head that Iron Banner is chaos. So don't worry about people flipping the spawns and it's spawning behind you.
I told you that before too, I believe.
I'm sure you did. And I'm very hard-headed. It takes several, you gotta program it in my brain until I finally know. But my point is they're trying to get people that taste of Trials. And they even said it in the TWAB. They want that Iron Banner feel when you play Trials. And if the Trials players don't like that, then I'm sorry. It's either that or just keep playing each other every other game on PC. I don't know what else to tell you. So I think the reason I even brought up this whole video is because he was kind of being a little bit of elitist and saying, hey man, they're just coming in for the loot and then they're bailing. Well, that's what it was designed to do. They put all this loot in place to bring in players who normally wouldn't even look your way to come in and play. So enjoy the numbers while they're high. And we're all going to be taking hits as we don't know what's coming down the pike with Bungie next. So yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is. I love the changes they made to Trials, and I've played in a team, and I've played with, a duo, and I've played solo. And I still have to say, playing solo is still the most fun I've ever had in Trials, because you just never know who you're going to get paired up with. And I put out a video of me going to not flawless, but going to getting my 7 wins. And every game I would say after that clip on my video, I'd say, I really flowed with this team. So those are the moments you're looking for, where you can move with your team and they all play the same way you do. And from there, but I'm going to leave it there. But I just want to make sure I had a very strong opinion on that video, and I felt like it was a little bit elitist, because I know these streamers, they want to get their dopamine hits. They still want to be king of the hill, and they probably always will be. But man, if you want players in the player blade, you gotta put loot out there, and you gotta make it easier for people to get in and play it like they do in Iron Banner. I'm just saying, it's a good system. I think it's a good move for Bungie, what they did there. And, I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. And then one more thing, and me respond on then. I don't know that it was an elitist attitude. I think he was just having an attitude where he was
venting a little,
seeing his side on it. Right. Yeah. So we're saying both sides. We're saying the side that brings the players that aren't as good in,
right?
But we were also agreeing that they should do more on the higher end side too. So because he's only mentioning the higher end side stuff doesn't mean you're elitist.
Let me rephrase, because I mean, I know ZK is a young guy. I mean, he's really good at what he does, and he's got a great player base that follows him too. I'm not saying he was being elitist. I was probably overspeaking there, but he was a little ranty, a little complaining, probably because he sees the numbers, or he sees that he's playing the same players again, and he's seeing that maybe his contention is the first 2 days people would jump in and get their weapon, and then they wouldn't be shown, they'd never be seen the rest of the week. Well, I'm sorry, man, but that's not, I mean, we're players. We're going to play what we want to play. But what he did do, though, instead of just ranting and saying video ends, he actually came up with some good ideas, like a random adept weapon that can pop up, or like the better shaders or higher level shaders. I've been saying this for years on the show, that they should have more ego rewards, something that shows off how good you're doing in Trials, and have a special emblem when you go 5 flawlesses, or when you go to the lighthouse 5 times. How about a new emblem to show people you've been to the lighthouse 5 times? Man, that's just basic stuff. I mean, Call of Duty's been banking on that forever, and that's just low hanging fruit. But he did have some constructive things to say. Thank you for correcting me there, because I didn't want to come across as me hating ZK. But like I said, everybody's kind of frustrated, but that's the thing, man. Everybody plays this game differently. And as a PvP player, I think it's a good thing they did, making the changes to trials. And that was what I wanted to express to them.
Unless he said words in there that it was not a good thing what they did, then I think I'm perfectly okay with this video. Because he gave like resolutions too on the other side. The only thing I think it's good we're bringing up is that we do have to remind people in the community that it's okay if you're on the lower end, and that's why you play. That's perfectly fine.
We had people never been to Lighthouse before. I said, I got my first Lighthouse run. That's awesome. That's gonna motivate them to try again. Say, let's see if I can do it again. That was great. That was a great accomplishment.
Or not, because they got the weapons they want.
Well, that's the thing. All you can do is you can lead a horse to water, right? That's the saying.
And then it comes into the whole conversation too. It's like, well, no, I won't go down this road.
Okay.
Well, I didn't mean anything about you.
No, Taja did say something. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, let's go. Yeah,
no, I was just going to bail you out on that. You said you didn't want to mention it. Man, I would like to play so much more PvP in general. If they lowered the match time and limit or really bumped that mercy rep factor. Right now, PvP just feels like the game's a drag on for so long.
I assume he's talking about Iron Banner, not
I think he's talking about PvP in general. Yeah. PvP in general there. So, I mean, it's not everybody's flavor, A lot of people would rather spend that time playing a Grandmaster. It just depends. There's so many different kinds of Guardians playing this game.
That's an interesting topic. Well, what do you think about that? Since you like PvP, do you think the matches are generally a good length for like Iron Banner and general PvP?
Oh, I tell you, for trials, the matches, the individual for trials, it's lightning fast. It is.
I mean for Iron Banner.
For Iron Banner, we get mercy a lot.
What's your personal opinion? Since you since you like PvP, would you even be fine with them being long?
It doesn't bother me. If a game goes long because we're neck and neck and we're just tug of war, I love games like that. I mean, you're talking to someone who played a Battlefield game for 1 hour of Conquest. I would play Conquest for 1 hour before the game ended. Each game was an hour long. That's how long. So this is nothing in comparison to that. So, yeah. No,
so
I
don't would actually be okay with
I'm okay
ones,
with
but then it's an interesting point because I like the shorter ones. Even though I don't love trials, I love how short those matches are.
They're very fast. You either win or you don't. It's very, very deterministic, very quick. You either got the right solution for that round or you didn't. And what's great is you can go back and play it again and learn from your mistakes. It's a great way to teach people how to get better at PvP. That's why I love trials. But I haven't played every week. There's been weeks I haven't played, mainly because I've been busy with family stuff. But I'd like to try to play every Saturday evening/afternoon. But just the last couple of weeks, it's been more personal stuff for me. I can't get to play in it. But I do get that trials itch on a Saturday on a weekend when I know I don't have to work. And I can just hang out and let's say, hey, let's see how long it takes for me to get to the lighthouse this week. So, yeah. And I think Trials respects the player's time. I think they're heading in the right direction when it comes to PvP game modes. But Jimmy Rayner, what about 6v6 trials or zone control trials? Why does it have to be round based? Well, because trials is but no, people aren't going to like that because trials is all about bam, bam, bam. You either get it or you don't. The 6v6 stuff is more for your Iron Banners and your control games, and they're talking about in comp a quicker version of Clash, or not Clash, but the other game mode, Conquest, or I can't remember what it's called, where you only have to capture 6 points. They take longer to take, so you have to defend them. But then once you got 6, the game's over. So they're trying different ways to make the game actually faster than slower. So I don't know. We could go. There's a lot to say here.
What would be interesting is, I haven't looked at it. I know Charlemagne only counts people that have the bots registered, but at least it's a pretty good indication of how things are going. It's interesting because Iron Banner is about 15% of the population right now. And how high does Trials get? I wonder. We should check that sometime.
Oh, Trials was at 300,000 the first week, just for Trials.
Percentage.
Oh, percentage of players that play it. That you mean? I don't know if we have that data.
Yeah. Well,
Bungie's got it.
when Trials isn't going right now, obviously, or this week, but no, but like Charlemagne, I think can get that data. So I'll have to look next time,
research it.
It's showing Iron Banner is only 15% right now. So I'm curious.
Well, we'll plug it in next week.
Trials got a few weeks ago. I wonder if I can look back in history. I was just going to kind of joke if for some reason rating was higher than Trials.
I don't know. I do not know. I do not know how much of the player base plays. See, we had Guardian games messed in there too. It just kind of muddied the waters a little bit too because they had the supremacy mode. Yeah. But
interesting. Strike's new activity is basically 58% of stuff people are doing right now, and then Iron Banner is only 15%. Dungeons 7%. Raiding is 5% right now. So
I would say Trials players and Raiders are probably in the same percentage of players.
Do you think Trials usually goes no higher than about 5% or something?
I think so because it's in-game PvP.
On the weekend though, so
hard to say.
We'll have to see. Yeah,
it could very well be higher. It could be Mo. I mean, like I said, and this was from ZK's video. He said 300,000 players over the entire weekend. That's not concurrent. That's over the entire weekend.
I wonder where he got that data because
I don't know.
That would mean
maybe he was talking about the player base in general. Maybe he misquoted it. I don't know.
I'll go back and watch the video because
we'll do the research. We'll do the research and we'll update you guys next week on it.
If when the Trials was at the high, well, that would have to mean 300,000. That would have to mean. Well, anyways, yeah. Because I feel like no one can get those numbers anyways. Like they're all estimates. Only Steam is the ones that we get the actual numbers from.
That's the thing. The consoles don't share that info. Yeah. Well, hey, it was a good topic. Thanks for indulging me on it. You had more points than I thought you were going to have on it. So being that you're not a PvP player, but thanks for jumping in on that. And thanks, chat, for your feedback as well. We got some questions from our community before we go tonight. So we'll do that when we return. Hey Guardians, would you like to send a question for the show to us? There are 4 ways to do it. First, you can join our Discord server at discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. There's also a join link in our show notes down below. We have Guardians from all walks of life and all over the world, from new lights to day one players to hardcore gamers. There's also a channel labeled Podcast Questions where you can type in your question for the show. So come hang out with us. You can also email us with your question at guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or we also occasionally post about our upcoming show and guest, and you can respond there with your question at Guardian_D_cast is our X handle. Finally, you can send us a voicemail with your question at guardiandowncast.com, and we might play it on the podcast. Think of it as talking with us right on the show. Thanks for listening, and later, Guardian. All right, boys and girls, it's that time of our show where we get our questions from you guys. And we have some questions from our Discord members. I'm going to start with Tajo Trade here in our Destiny questions. He says, do you have a weapon perk that isn't necessarily considered good or useful to most of the community, but really enjoy or like to use? Let me grab them.
I'll go first. No.
Yeah, please. Yeah, okay. Weapon perk. That's not good, but you still like to use it. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, if I'm thinking about the basic perks, no is generally the answer. But if we're talking about exotics, I mean, there's times where in the past this wasn't as true, where Telesto actually was really good in PvE for certain things. And it's not horrible by any means, but I would say even the changes they made, they seem a little more gimmicky right now. So it's maybe not the best perk, but I still have fun with it. So that's the best thing I can think I can answer more on the exotic level.
Telesto, yeah.
I would say something like Telesto, but on the legendary, just normal perk level, I can't think of a perk that generally people don't like that I run. So sorry, I don't have an answer to that.
Well,
maybe you have one, Todd.
I'm a pulse rifle connoisseur. I love trying different things in pulse rifles. So I got a lot of weird pulse rifle perks. Like pairing Lone Wolf with Zen Moment. I mean, I mean, because I'll be away from targets, away from my fire team because it's a long range pulse rifle. And I wonder how Zen Moment would work with that. Tajo, for me, it's mainly about synergy. I want to know how what works with what. Headseeker, everybody knows, is great on a pulse rifle, but what about Demolitionist? Because if I'm using grenades to create those ice turrets in the Crucible, or wherever I'm playing, a PvE or whatever I'm jumping into, that might be something to use because not many people use Demolitionist anymore, and it's actually not on many rifles anymore. It's kind of one of those outside perks they put on weapons anymore, but they used to put them on all the time in the older Destiny 2 content. But Headseeker gives me, the damage when I shoot the body first and travel up to the head to a precision shot. And Demolition will give me more grenade energy so I can make more ice turrets to freeze those shotgunners who think they're going to run up on me and don't see the ice turret around the corner, stuff like that. Yeah, that's where I went with that question. But yeah, I get the Telesto argument as well, Kingsley. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, Osmosis. Yeah, when Osmosis came out, I was all about it. And then there was no real need for me to seek it out. Yeah. There's a couple weird ones out there as well. But, yeah.
You know what it is for me more so? There's so many weapons and so many perks. I don't have the time or desire to find some really cool, unique one that's just for me. So I typically go with, that's why I like services like light.gg that tell what popular perk combos are, because most of the time they're going to work well for me too. Now I know, don't worry, and people, you too, don't take that as like total gospel. It doesn't always mean it's the best perk for you, and you should try other things. And I do occasionally, especially if I didn't get the perfect roll yet, that's a common, perfect as far as popularity, right? But I really enjoy that we have sites like light.gg because I don't have the time or desire to figure out what's a good perk right now that'll do a lot of damage that usually is going to be popular. So I love that the sites tell me these are the perks to pick. There you go. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I love about
that's how I play generally.
Well, the thing I love about Destiny 2 now is there's all kinds of new weapon perks they have coming out now. If you enhance it, it opens up a whole new level of perks too, which I always like to try stuff. I'm always like trying stuff, and usually the pulse rifle is my test weapon of choice. Of course, JD Kent, our glaive user, our glaive professor, disruption break on a glaive. They count as kinetic damage. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah,
but see, now I want to like go to some of these weapons, like what you were mentioning, Demolitionist and his with that, and actually see if they're not popular perks on light.gg, because that'll tell on you too. Maybe they are popular.
Yeah. But it's
I would
not
have
always,
to, because they kind of rank them and stuff, so you can kind of see how popular they are.
Well, another thing too is you hear more about PvP perks more so than PvE perks these days, because in PvP you only have split seconds, and every extra little thing that helps you is going to make a difference. Where in PvE you have a little more latitude. I'm not going to go down that road, but you have a little more time to put builds together and make stuff work together. And I don't know, we're talking weapon perks here. So yeah. All right, let's go to another question. Tajo has another one here. It's an interesting question. I was watching Scaro9 live stream recently, and somehow Dungeon Exotics came up. He said that one of his topics that he will stand behind till the end is that anyone who can solo flawless a dungeon should get the exotic guaranteed. I honestly agree. As of right now, the reward for solo flawless clear isn't very rewarding, other than checking a box for your title. Or Guardian rank. That's the only thing I can think of that it gives you. He also said that change would encourage more people to attempt it. I agree with that also. What do you think about those 2 points? I'll defer to you, Kingsley.
Yeah, of course you should. I don't know really anyone that would disagree with that. It's a similar aspect to the people that run it on contest mode and get it guaranteed that way. And then this last time it got messed up and then they let contest mode go for another weekend. Mm-hmm. Why not just have that always as an option? And or the solo flawless thing, which you mentioned, have really hard ways to get it guaranteed, and then have all the medium ways that are more just RNG in the middle.
Right.
And then the easy way of doing the dungeon, you don't get as much loot, but you can get the experience of how to run the dungeon and stuff.
It's the same it's along the same route as me saying after 15 runs and you don't get the raid exotic, that there should be some kind of quest that pops up and says, hey, you've done 15 runs. Good try. Didn't work out. Here's a quest you can do if you want to force it to drop. I know we don't agree.
Not saying that. I'd say you have to do it on the harder version to get it. Keep the RNG going on the normal version. Yeah,
I know, but that we don't agree on that part. But I always thought that was fair because respect the player's time, man. I mean, especially now that this game is 11 years old.
My time's being respected with normal RNG.
Okay, well, that's why I believe in weapon crafting. But anyway, Bazash has a question here. Hang on. After reading this article, it's time to have 2 esports teams for PvP UK and a USA one. Obviously, I won't be in it as my silky skills, but I've been battered by some who could. I wish esports, I wish Destiny 2 would be more of an esports game, but I think
it's not happening.
The fact
Marathon might, right?
Marathon might, because it might have more fixed loadouts.
They want to.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'd watch it. I mean, I used to watch the tournaments they'd have at Guardian Con. They were really fun. I even watched one in person when I was there at Guardian Con one year, and it was exciting, man. They had big screens, and the players are right there playing, and it was really. I'm telling you, Destiny PvP is exciting to watch, especially when you know how to play it and you know why they're doing the things they do. But anyway, I don't know. I don't think esports is going to be a thing for Destiny 2, at least not formally. McMaximo, y'all were talking about Charlemagne giving stats on raids, and you mentioned that it would also show how many Sherpa runs you've done. How does it know if you were being a Sherpa? You want to explain that one, Kingsley?
Yeah. It's quite simple. It's just basically if you are in a group with one or more people that have not finished the raid yet.
And you've run it. You're not one of those people.
It doesn't mean the game knows you were teaching them well. So you're not necessarily a Sherpa on the sense that we normally talk about it as, but you were there, you were helping out, and you helped everyone get the raid done. So if someone was new, even though you aren't McMaximo, and they get a clear, then all of a sudden then it counts as your Sherpa stat. So
it does. Yep. So that's what that means. There's no way the game knows if you actually, if the new player gave you some special accommodation saying he was a Sherpa. No, it doesn't work that way. Yeah. Even weirder, I have 2 Sherpa runs, and I can't guarantee that I've ever taught anyone anything.
Well,
right.
We just answered that.
We just answered that point. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Let me see what else we have here. That is all in the Destiny questions. Let's look at non-Destiny here. We'll start on one. We've got 8 questions in here. Let's see what this is about. Okay. All right. Oda. God bless you, man. Oda has the weirdest questions. Okay. Question for the show. If the world's governments came together to give you one set of external armor from your favorite fiction, what armor would you pick and why? I pick either superior Iron Man armor or 40k custodian armor. Man, 40k armor just sounds badass to me. But what do you think, Kingsley?
I don't even know how to add
a real life, like we in Armageddon, I guess. This is the afterworld. This is we're in the, I guess this is the Fallout years. What armor would you want to wear? I guess that's what he's saying. It's Oda. It's Oda.
I know I'm sorry. I don't have an answer to this. First of all, I don't really, even in Destiny, I sometimes barely geek over armor. Yeah. Having a question for this, regardless of even the world government part, I don't know how to answer. Sorry.
I kind of stumbled on this one too, but he did ask it. I want to make sure you ask it.
With invisibility.
There you
go.
Oh, yes. Crisis. I want Crisis armor. I want Crisis, Crisis 2, Crisis 3. I want Crisis armor where I can press a thing and I'm invisible and I can just go wander anywhere. That's what I want.
Yeah, there we go.
Crisis 2 armor. There we go. That's me. Okay. Jeez. Okay. Let's go with one more here. Jeez. Oh, well, no, this might be, well, I wish Ronan was in chat. He could answer that one better. I'll save that one. Zombie Pops. Question for the show. I'm embarking on an 8-hour drive soon for spring break. Do yuns consider the drive part of the vacation and like taking the scenic routes, or is it just an obstacle between you and the relaxation, so you take the highways and interstates so you can get there quicker? What's your take on that, Kingsley?
Well, this goes in very heavily with a bigger picture question: personality types, gaming, things like that. It's the perennial question I'm always bringing up. Now, okay, the answer I want to give, but of course, there's times where I have to go faster too. I always prefer the unique way of going somewhere. Of course, you can only take that so far. Like if we need to get to a destination, I'm not taking a 3-day side trip that would normally take 1 day. Well, I mean, unless we plan that in the vacation, right? And whenever I'm going somewhere new, I did actually used to research. I think a lot of people do this. It seems obvious, right? You're coming through, for example, I-80 versus I-70 coming out west. There's parts where I-80 are a lot more interesting, but there's a lot of parts where I-70 are way better than I-80. So when people come to Utah, I'll usually tell them, take I-70. It's better than I-80, to come into Utah. It's more scenic and everything.
Right.
So that's the answer. Now, of course, there's going to be times, and if I'm going somewhere I've been a million times before, so it's not interesting anymore. Like I used to drive to Southern California a lot, 10-hour drive from Salt Lake City. I just want to get there as fast as possible because I'm trying to just get there. There's really nothing scenic that I've seen anyway, haven't already seen anyway. So I'm not going to take the one extra canyon that's a half an hour more because I've already seen that canyon a million times. But I think that kind of answers the question. Yeah,
for me, my wife is usually on an agenda. She has a schedule, and she's taking the fastest route. And if we get a mountain road, fantastic. Sometimes we do. I've driven all over the United States. I've driven as far as Montana. I've been to Southern Cal. I've been to Bar Harbor, Maine. I've driven in Boston, North Carolina a ton of times. I mean, a lot of the Southeast and stuff. And I tell you really want a nice drive to Key West. Those bridges are breathtaking. And those are a lot of fun to go to if you're traveling to Key West. But for me, unfortunately, my wife usually is like, we got to be there by this time. Let's go. This is the fastest route. Let's roll. And for me, man, if I'm sitting there, I can never be a truck driver because if I'm sitting there just counting lines on the road, I got 2 hours in me and I'm out. My whatever, ADHD, my neurodivergence, whatever you want to call it, I cannot concentrate. It's like when I read. If I'm sitting there reading, after about a chapter, I'm done, man. It takes so much energy for me to focus on stuff like that it mentally just wears me out. So I would
road bounties.
I would
look for license plate collections. Say
we've tried, dude. We've played all that. We've tried that. Believe me, we've tried those
you
games.
Like bounties.
I do like bounties. We do slug bug all the time as well. But for me, it's usually my wife is she's like, we got to be there before dark, but we have been on some really good drives. So good question, Zombie Pops. Okay. Let's, here's one from Scarlett. Just a quick one here. And then I've got something else I want to do before we go tonight. I know we're running low on time. Scarlett KM, how's AC Shadows playthrough going for you, Kingsley? I'm loving it so far. Which character do you sway towards when you get the chance to choose who to play? If you're to that point of the story.
Yeah, of course I'm loving it. I haven't played much this last week because of being sick, but I said it earlier on in the show, even Destiny, except for like the last couple days. I haven't been doing much gaming when I was sick. But up until then, I've been entirely loving Assassin's Creed Shadows. And for being someone who likes Assassin's Creed games in general, I would say this game is like a top 2 for me right now.
Wow, really?
Of all their games. Okay. And I mean, it's number 1 right now because it's new and the graphics are better than things like Black Flag. But as far as the overall theme and funness, Black Flag is still probably number 1, but this is a very close number 2. And I think a lot of people are doing this, but not everyone. But I try to main nowadays as much as possible because very nimble, a lot more assassination techniques. Even though her weapons aren't as strong, of course, as Yasuke. If you know how to play it well, you just kind of like surgically run in, use your knives like really fast, boom, 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 and it won't do as much DPS, but then you can kind of back away, rotate around, flip around, do some smoke. I kind of like that play style, being more nimble and everything with this Assassin's Creed stuff. Now, that being said, when I've switched to the other character, he's super powerful. Like, I'm like, oh boy, I can sure take down these people quicker. And so someone would be like, why don't you always do that? Well, there's so many reasons, because it's a plus and minuses, right? He moves slower. You can't climb as well. If you wanted to just sneak in the shadows and assassinate a bunch of people behind their back, he's not as good at that, like doing it very quickly and everything. So I try to play as much as I can. Hope you're enjoying the game also, Scarlett.
Thanks, Scarlett. Appreciate the question, bud. We did our question of the week this week, and I just want to give some feedback on that. The question of the week that I presented this week, and it was in the form of a survey, which is what it'll be every week. I said, how much of the episodic content have you completed after Final Shape? Choose the best answer that represents your Guardian, and you can comment below as well, and we'll read some of those out. I've completed all 3 episodes of the story so far. 52% of the people who were surveyed answered that one. The second choice was I've completed Echoes only. That was 7%. I've completed Revenant only. No surprise. Nobody voted for that one. I've completed Heresy only. That was 7% of the people who were surveyed. The next choice was I've not played any episodes at all, only Final Shape. 11% of the participants chose that answer. The one I did have after that is I've completed everything. Everything. Like titles, the Catalyst, you name it. Everything that's been available in the game, they've gotten done. 15% of the people who were surveyed answered that question. The next 2 answers were I've dabbled with episodes, but nothing completed. 7% answered that. And then final answer was I haven't played any Destiny 2, including Final Shape. And thank God that no one voted for that one. So those were the results of the question of the week.
To be fair on that one, you
Yes.
think people that haven't played for that long are even checking for this question in the Discord?
It could be.
They probably didn't even see it.
Self-fulfilling prophecy. I get that. I get that.
Right.
But, I figured if someone was, running through this, not playing Destiny right now, but hanging out in our Discord, they would maybe possibly answer that. But
I just think things through like that. I think you had too many choices on this survey.
I'm learning to get better. Maybe you can help me with that part next week. Chaz,
I know, right? I shouldn't talk because I was like, I don't want to come up with the questions.
But I said, but I'll do it. I'll do it. I love making questions.
What I'm good at, Todd, you come up with the ideas. I'm really good at narrowing down what's.
All right. Tell you what. Here's how it works. If you're willing to say you'll do it, I'll DM the question of the week to you, and you can decide the answers. How about that?
And you don't have to. I'm just joking.
No, I think that's a good idea. That way we're both involved. That way we're both involved, and people can know it's gone by a committee. There you go, by committee, the answers. Because there was a little ambiguity, and there was some ambiguity. I mean, some players were like, well, I've completed, like Fluffy's like, well, I completed the first 2, but I haven't really done a whole lot of Heresy yet, so where's that answer? And I was like, well, just pick the one that's best,
Already getting out my voice tonight, people.
I didn't know how to answer that question, so that's on me. That's on me. So anyway,
it's fine.
Just a few comments real quickly.
We got more votes this week. Sorry to interrupt you again. I'm really happy about. So let's keep it going.
Yeah, we had 28 people voted for that. So thank you.
Yeah, I want to see those numbers even way higher.
I'd love to see 50. 50
would
be awesome if we saw 50 votes in there. Just a few comments on it. Chase Raz. Finally have time to give my proper answer. I started playing Destiny 2 right as the Witch Queen DLC dropped, and I almost every day have played since up until I took a break right at Final Shape. My former clanmates were pretty much dissipated at that point, so I needed a breather. Jumped back in to complete Final Shape on one character, then took a long break then, played maybe a week or two with the first 2 episodes, but never completed any. Been back in the game for the past few weeks, and should be on track to finish all 3 acts this time around. As for the season pass, well, that's another topic for another day. Well, good for you, man. Thanks for commenting there. Let's see. Fluffy was giving me a lot of, not fluffy fingers. The other Fluffy was saying, well, what about this? Or I didn't know how to answer his questions. Walk and Plague, one of our newer members, he says, I just started playing midway through Act 1 of Heresy. So sad I didn't get to experience the other ones. Well, here's the thing, man. You can go back and play all the episodes. You don't have to play them in order. So remember, you can go.
Is it possible that they didn't buy the whole pass?
That could be. Yeah, you might have to pay for it. I mean, that's sad that we have to say that, but yeah, that might be the fact. So, okay.
It's not sad. It's their money.
And I'll edit this part. Thank you for everybody who chimed in on the question of the week. We will do it by committee starting next week. I will DM my question to Kingsley on Monday morning-ish. Mondays are rough.
I'll make sure there's not a million answers to pick from.
And Kingsley will make the survey, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, Kingsley's better at this.
No, I actually do love the questions so far. They've been fun to answer. Of course, rating was fun, and this one was a fun one too.
I mean, it's literally my curiosity. I'm just curious where people stand on that stuff. So that's where it comes from. I'll come up with a creative question, and you're more of the analytical person. We'll let you iron out the details on each question. Good luck.
Good luck. Then they can play. Hey, then they can complain to me instead of you.
There you go. Who came up with this question? What a dumb question. When we had Magic Mike on last week, people really enjoyed the new revised version of the SpeedRun. And, each guest would get 25 questions, but we only do one guest episode a month. And Kingsley was real excited about the SpeedRun last week. And I said, you know what? If we have time, and we got time, I want to go ahead and run a SpeedRun by you, man. So what do you think? You up for it? I know you're a little under the weather.
No, I can do it, even though And
there's not, it's not going to be a timer, but try to answer as quickly as you can. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. I know you like to overthink it. Don't overthink it.
You're saying all these things to me.
I know. All right. Well, here we go. This segment is called the Speedrun. I've handpicked 45 questions from a pool of over 1,000 submitted by our community. These are quick, simple questions to get to know our guest at an either deeper level. No time limits, no contest, just quick questions and answers. So what do you think? You ready? Kingsley, you ready to do this?
Yes, I'm ready.
Here we go. Number 1, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Number 2, incandescent, volt shot, or destabilizing rounds?
Volt shot right now.
Number 3, what is your favorite Destiny exotic from either Destiny?
Sunshot.
If you could choose, who would voice your ghost?
I don't know. I'll even just pick your answer. Matrix dude.
Oh, okay. Neo. Neo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Void, Solar, Arc, Stasis, or Strand?
For what I like right now, or in general?
Just general.
I'm overthinking it.
Yeah, don't overthink it.
I mean, right now it's Arc.
Okay. Pulse, hand cannon, scout, or auto rifle?
Hand cannon.
Stay in or go out? Generally speaking.
I stay in so much, so I've been antsy to be getting out these days. So I'm going to say go out, even though I'm an introvert.
Okay. What is the latest you've been up gaming?
I don't think I've been to the sun's come up, so I'll say 3 or 4.
Okay. What is the worst job you've ever had?
I've had so many good jobs in my life, but I did do for like 1 week in the summer when I was a junior in high school. I worked at my grandfather's retail shop stocking a shelf, and I hated it.
Stock clerk. Got it. Okay. Been there, done that. Okay. Mm-hmm. What? Okay. Beatles, Rolling Stones, or The Who?
Beatles.
Okay. That's actually what I thought you would say. Stealth or Guns Blazing?
Stealth.
Me too. Taken King or Forsaken?
Taking King.
I figured. What is the best Destiny subclass? Period. Hands down. Mic drop. Don't go by today's whatever artifact. Just what do you think is the best Destiny subclass?
I'm not actually. This question makes more sense to me. It's going to be a tough one because Arc is almost best overall now, but I'd maybe have to say.
Go ahead.
I'd maybe have to say Strand.
Oh, okay. Surprise me. Okay.
No, or Prismatic / Strand. Yeah.
No, I thought you were going to say Voidwalker. Okay. Because I'm a Nova Bomb. That's the best class they ever made for me. What is your favorite Destiny?
Super.
I like blowing shit up, man. What is the best Destiny. Oh, Jesus. What is your favorite Destiny planet and why?
Ooh, I like Venus. I think we've had this discussion.
We're both on the same wavelength there. Yeah, I love
Venus. Okay, Dreadnought, I feel like there's more to explore in general, but Venus just has a cool look to it that's not as sad as the Dreadnought. Yeah. And there were so many cool things that added to the story.
What are those Vex structures? You're like, what the hell? You
all the buildings, and you go under the ground and all the Braytech facility. Well, not Braytech, but the other named facilities and stuff. And
maybe it was the school. Yeah, the school. And of course, that's where the first raid ever made was. So you can't beat it. Yeah, I agree, 100%. Okay. Next question, number 15. Screensaver or power save?
What do you even mean, power save?
Like, do you put your computer to sleep, or do you just let it go to a screensaver? I guess it's, I didn't ask this question. This was submitted by the community.
Fair. I just want to make sure I give the right answer. I actually do keep my computer on a lot with the screensaver. Yep.
Okay. Number 16. What would be your spirit animal?
Ooh.
Don't worry, it gets even deeper.
Used to be like a bird, but because I like the idea of flying, but that's boring to me right now.
Doesn't have to be sexy, Kingsley.
No, I know, but it has to appeal to me.
I understand.
But for sake of time, I'll go with like some sleek, fast hawk bird or something.
Okay, like a darter. Nice. Okay. Describe yourself in one word. This ought to be interesting.
Fairness.
That is very true. You are definitely a fairness person. I've learned that over the years, that you always like to weigh both sides of every argument. However,
and how I try to treat people too. I'm not perfect.
No, I understand.
Yeah, I try. Yeah,
I had the hardest time getting understanding that part of you when I first met you, I'll be honest, it irritated me. But I'm just being honest.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I'm sure there's lots of stuff that I irritate you about. But now I understand. I understand now why you think that way. Yeah. So, it gets even better. What is your wife's eye color?
Oh, it's hazel.
Okay. Some people can't answer that.
I wish you got some fun answer, but it's just, and hazel's great. It's beautiful, but Black
Friday or Cyber Monday?
Well, Cyber Monday probably. Yeah.
Okay. We're trying to be fair. Just answer comes to your mind. Okay.
I'm trying to even think what my answer is.
All right.
I'm not overthinking.
Chat, it's an opinion, okay? Don't hold them to it, okay? All right, here we go.
I don't care what people
I know. Favorite armor shader color? You can use them if you need to.
Ooh, I'm kind of boring, and I generally like the really dark. Like, I've loved the super blacks. I've loved the dark reds, like super dark red, not so just like a dark black or a dark red. Probably dark black if I had to pick one. Yeah.
Okay. I love the ones and zeros right now because it's Matrix. Name a blast from the past. Magic Mike couldn't figure this. He didn't understand what we meant last time, but I know you do. Blast from the past.
Oh, I forgot what the meaning was, but I know. I think I know what you mean. It can mean a lot of different things. Well, this one's going to appeal more to you than me, but I'll go with who's the dude? MTV,
Max
the original dude.
Max Headroom.
No, well, the real guy. But that's a good answer too. But he was the original VJ.
Cody.
Oh, I forget. Yeah. But anyways, let's just go with MTV stuff. Yep.
I like it. Yeah, that was some good times. New times, man. Was crazy times. Do you eat leftovers or do they spoil in the fridge?
That's a funny question. I definitely eat them. My wife tends to let them spoil in the fridge, but then the good news is I'll usually eat her leftovers.
I'm 50-50. It's a crapshoot with me. What is your favorite dungeon or raid? I had to throw that one in there. Or raid. Dungeon or raid.
Well, I'm always going to pick a raid. And right now, and for the most part, it's generally Garden. Although that could change a little bit. Sometimes I get a little bored of it, but it's Garden. It's a good one.
Okay. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun one. Can you drive a stick shift?
I actually can't. So let me tell you a little bit of history.
I want to hear this.
My parents could, and they weren't opposed to teaching me, but a couple things, especially in California growing up, I feel like we were kind of ahead of the curve on a lot. All our cars had air conditioning standard, even in the late 70s, early 80s. It wasn't this, and automatic was like in all the cars. You had to have like a sports car or something else if you wanted a manual, a stick shift. And even my mom's first car, that was a 1977 El Camino, was also automatic.
Love that.
And so that was the first car I learned on. So I didn't really have an opportunity to learn stick shift. My wife jokes at me because she laughs that I never, because she's 9 years younger than me. She knows stick shift, but I don't. I don't care.
She probably drove
had
a little Toyota or Honda when she was younger.
Yeah, something. I don't know. I never had a need to learn stick shift, and I've survived this long in life, so I'm perfectly happy that I never learned it.
Just a short story here. My wife, we were buying her new HRV at the Honda dealer before all this shit went down. And we were talking to the dealer. He says, do you even have stick shift cars anymore? She goes, yes, we have one model that has a stick shift, and it's special order.
Yeah, special order. See, it's
a special order because nobody wants a stick shift anymore. I don't understand that. It's just so much fun to drive a stick shift, but I understand where you're coming from there. It's culture. It's just where you lived in Southern Cal. That's just the way it was. See, in Florida, we always had AC, but we had stick shifts. Everything had stick shifts. Okay.
And we always had the AC too. Cars and houses. I don't understand, but then I guess I understand, but it was just a standard. And it's not only AC, but central air has been standard even since the 70s in California.
Same in Florida. We're probably both coasts or share the same kind of climate. Let's see. Where I left off. Number 25. If you could stop time for a day, what would you do with it?
Funny enough, because I game so much, I would probably pick an answer of just exploring some really cool vacation in tropical islands, Hawaii, stuff like that, and just keep it going for a very long time. So I just got so tired.
I would. And you finally hit the unpause button and go back to life.
Yep.
That sounds good to me. Okay, Millennium Falcon or the USS Enterprise?
I feel like the Enterprise has more fun stuff on it, so I'll pick Enterprise, even though it doesn't look as sexy.
Okay. Yeah, see, column drive, JD? I drove a column drive, 3-speed.
What's a column drive?
Literally, you know how you have a column on a pickup truck and you shift it into drive?
No, I don't know what a column is.
Okay, well, the column drive, what you do is you'd have a clutch. You'd put the clutch in, shift all the way down.
I know what a clutch is.
And then you'd push, and once you got up to high on first gear, you push the clutch in again and you shoot it back up. And then you shoot it back down. There was some kind of synchro mesh in there, and it was different for different vehicles, but you literally were just doing this, shifting.
I have tried a stick shift once. My wife had, when we first met, 10 years ago, her car was still a stick shift, and she tried teaching me for a little bit. I'm like, this is fine, whatever. But then I taught
my son. Taught my son on his first car was a Ford Ranger with a 3-liter V6 and a 5-speed stick shift, and I'm so glad I taught him how to drive a stick.
I know stick shift's better, especially if you're doing sports cars or you need it for certain things. But
you just never know. Say you have to move a car, there's a car, you need to move it out of the way, or a train's going to hit it or something. And
yes, JD, the hollow deck on the Enterprise. That reason alone is why the Enterprise should win over the Millennium Falcon.
Well, I just threw it out there, just feeling you out. Okay, number 27. Plastic wrap or tinfoil?
This really depends, but I guess
this was submitted by our community.
I guess I'll go with aluminum foil, which I call it. I don't call it tinfoil, but I know what you mean.
Right, gotcha. Okay. We're talking about weapon perks again.
I love the questions. These are hilarious.
We're talking about weapon perks again. Recombination or rewind rounds?
I guess rewind.
I think everybody's going to go that way. Journey or destination? Deep question.
Generally journey.
Me too. Favorite season of the year? Being a Utah Spring. Okay.
Spring.
Number 31. Game-winning score or game-saving stop?
Oh, definitely game-saving stop.
I figured you'd answer.
Not even being much into sports, I couldn't care less really what the score is. But if there's something really cool happening, that's fun.
Well, I could apply to video games too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Favorite fragment. This may take a little thinking. Favorite fragment.
Of what?
Fragment in our build crafting in Destiny.
Oh, aspects and fragments.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can look it up if you need to.
I don't remember what they're called. This is some Jolt one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just to go faster now. Yep. Sorry.
Okay. Number 33. This may be controversial. Doritos Original, Cool Ranch, or Taco? This was not submitted by me.
Well, original would be the nacho cheese flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go original.
Okay. Old school. I like it. Who would voice your guardian?
Don't care. No.
Okay.
I'll go with, let's pick the other dude from
Orpheus.
Matrix. Yes.
Morpheus. Okay. That's good. Okay. What's the best sandwich?
Okay. This is fun because do you remember this was one that tripped me up? One of the reasons why I maybe didn't win year 1 or 2.
Could be,
when you
possibly. Maybe come back to hunt you.
I said sandwich or something, and you said it didn't count. And that makes sense. It shouldn't have counted.
Yeah.
I learned better to just say cheese or something like quicker the next time.
Right.
But to truly answer the question, I really like Reuben sandwiches. Those are
Reuben's,
good.
okay. Like that corned beef? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Very
or
cool.
like a Cuban sandwich is good too. Maybe
God,
I'll pick
good.
Cuban.
That's
Sorry,
a good sandwich.
I changed my
That
answer.
doesn't matter. That's both good. They're both good. A lot of ham and stuff in there. Nice. All right. Next question is favorite Destiny strike?
It's probably going to be a Destiny 1 that hasn't come back. And it would probably be something like
You can describe it if you don't remember the name of
Shield
it.
Brothers is pretty good,
Shield
or maybe like one of the ones on Venus, like where you go way down and you get that in the caves and you get that big Hydra. Or the one on the Black Garden where there's the Hydra up
That one's
the
good.
top.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
Okay.
it's hard to answer, but I would definitely have to say, I really liked the one on Mars. You go to the top of that building, you had the 3 scions, remember?
Right.
And you had to they were all different elements, like a void, an arc, and a solar scion. You're climbing this tower, this building at the very top, and anyways.
Everybody's yelling in chat or in the audio podcast right now.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. All right, next question. We're almost done. Okay. What weapon and armor piece do you use the most as your exotics? Just generally over the years.
Yeah, weapon armor piece. Weapon, Sunshot probably I use the most.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't look at the last months of statistics. It's more Cold Heart or whatever. But
Right.
And then armor piece, it does vary a good amount because I like to go with new builds. So I'll just go with what I have right now, and that's Geomag.
Okay. Favorite restaurant? It could be local dive too. Doesn't have to be a chain.
That is a good
That German
question.
place we went to, that was good. That was a good place.
Yeah,
That was a
I
unique
know.
restaurant. It was like a brewery or something. Yeah.
Yes, very good German food. I'll go with that. It's between that, or there's also a Cajun restaurant that's really, really good, New Orleans style. But I'll go with the German place.
Okay. You don't have to
and
say what
I
it
should-
is.
No, I'll look it up. It's not like it gives away. Everyone knows I live in the Salt Lake City
Oh, right.
area, but it doesn't mean you're going to know what city
That's
or where
true.
my house is. But
That's true.
anyways, if anyone comes to visit Utah Skull or want to look up the menu, especially people from Germany, they're listening to this, look up Bohemian Brewery in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah.
It's technically
That's where we
Midvale,
did our
Utah,
meetup.
but
It was really good.
give a look and see what you think of the menu and stuff. So
Mhm. See if it's authentic. I thought it was authentic. Of course, what do I know? I'm an American.
it's close enough. I don't know if it's super authentic.
It was
I
good.
think it's good. I'm
It was
curious
very
people's
good.
opinions.
The Germans like to mix meat together. That's what I'm finding out. It was very good, though. What one thing annoys you most? Can't answer me.
People that are unfair, I guess.
Okay. All right. Where is your ideal vacation?
Tropical place like Hawaii, Caribbeans, things like that. Mhm.
Speaking of which, shout out to Fluffy Fingers MD. He just got back from Hawaii with his family. 41. First Destiny podcast you listened to.
Destiny Reset podcast.
Nice. I did too. I listen to them every week. Favorite donut or cookie?
Oh, I love this. I am a donut snob from growing up in Southern California. We had donut shops on like every corner almost. And we had a lot of the old fashioned traditional styles, none of these like just Krispy Kreme limited selection bullshit. My favorite donut is a chocolate old fashioned.
Is that a cake donut?
And yeah, but old fashions are made. It's like a buttermilk style, but it's not the buttermilk donut.
Right.
It's that round one that has the edges that you can break off, and they're super crispy because they deep fry it, and then put a little bit of chocolate frosting on the top.
Oh, that sounds good. I like cake donuts. Everybody thought I was weird. I love cake donuts. They're a little denser, but yeah, I hate the puffy fat donuts sometimes. It just depends what you're in the mood for.
I like those too, but
I mean, it depends what you're in the mood for.
My favorite.
The dense donuts, you couldn't eat as many of them because they were so dense, but they were very tasty. Okay, number 43. First gaming console.
Original Nintendo. No, ColecoVision.
Nice. That dates you.
Well, okay, for me, or just that I played on. What do you mean by that?
For you, what was your first console you ever played on?
It was ColecoVision, but the Nintendo was like my first system. The ColecoVision was my dad's, actually.
Yeah, Nintendo was where you actually played the games that you saw in the arcades, and they oddly looked so realistic, even though they weren't, but they did to us.
ColecoVision had Pac-Man and Donkey Kong.
Yeah, they were pretty close. Yeah. I remember the Atari Pac-Man was not even close to the original one, but it still was fun to play. Number 44. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? Live.
But actually, for climate-wise, again, it would be like kind of like that, closer to the equator, like San Diego or Hawaii or something like that, or maybe some parts of Florida. But I would think maybe more like areas that don't get as many hurricanes. So that's why I'm thinking more like Pacific than Atlantic. But I know Pacific gets hurricanes too. But anyways, for climate, and then as far as just like culture, I would pick. Sorry, I'm picking multiple answers. I would pick like I'd live somewhere in Europe. Oh, yeah. I don't know where. That can mean anywhere from UK to Germany to Austria to Norway. Yeah. But I have a lot of heritage from different areas out there. So
hey, soon we may own Greenland. Who knows? All right, sorry, that was off base.
We won't consider that Europe either way.
Anyway, whatever. You know, the thing I love about Europe is everyone is so close together. If I want to go visit someone in Washington State, it's going to take 2 days, 3 days to find. I mean, like I'm going to UK and I'm thinking of heading into Bristol. I think I'm going to start there and then go to places I didn't go when I was there 13 or so years ago, maybe more than that. And everything is within 2 hours. Everything, like 2 hour drive. I'm talking to Heyoka right now, places to lodge and go to, and he's like, yeah, it's about 2 hours. So I mean, that's nothing for me, man. 2 hours. You know what 2 hours is in Florida? It's from Orlando to the West Coast, like Tampa. That's 2 hours. So imagine that and going to an entirely different area of the UK. I cannot wait. I'm so excited to go. Can't wait to talk to you guys there. Last question. What is one thing that our community may not know about you, Kingsleymac?
Yeah. I don't think I did. Maybe I answered this question when you.
Maybe.
I seem to remember too. You didn't have that as an original question when you first started the podcast, and then I'm like, I don't mind answering that. But one thing that a lot of people do know I worked at Disneyland, but a lot of people don't know I broke down a ride at Disneyland once.
You got to tell it.
When I was an employee working there.
Which ride?
Thunder Mountain. So I'll keep the story not super long, or kind of short. And I just got trained on the ride, and I'm really good at following. I learned everything good. I didn't have any questions about the ride, but I swear the trainer taught me something kind of wrong, because they taught how to reset the ride, and then they taught how to start up the ride in the morning.
Right.
But they didn't differentiate that they're different as far as switching the tracks, as far as doing a reset. Mm-hmm. They didn't teach me well that you only do the reset of the tracks if the ride broke down anyways. You don't do it when you're starting up in the morning. So I come in one day, and I usually worked the night shifts anyways, and I was still pretty new on the ride. And they're like, okay, go over to that track spur area and get on the phone there, and you're going to help us bring on another train. Again, this is starting the ride, not resetting the ride if the ride broke down.
Right.
So there's trains sitting on the track in the queue, in the maintenance queue area, not the normal queue area, getting ready to come on. we're going through the procedure, and they're like, okay, zone 1's ready, zone 2's ready, and then I'm back in zone 3. Like, okay, zone 3, and then I switch the track spur, and then the train. I didn't know. Also, I wouldn't have done this if I knew that the train was partially where that track spur was going to be. It derailed off that part, the back part. It was between, because I thought I was supposed to switch. The reason why you normally, because they have 2 maintenance tracks that go into one track coming onto the ride,
right,
so they can store all the trains.
Right.
So, and you got to spur that thing just for safety reasons when you're resetting the ride. But I thought starting up the ride, I was supposed to do that too. So they told me zone 3. I'm like, zone 3 ready. I do that. And then the train, the back, and when I say derailed, it wasn't like some big, like,
no, you had like half the train on one track and half of it.
All it was like the very back part of the train ride skipped off one of the rails a little teeny bit, but still. Fully. Yeah. It was dramatic. They had to shut down the ride. Maintenance had to come out, lift the train back on the one. I was going to say,
how did they do that? Yeah, you have to literally just lift the train, right? There's no technical way of fixing it.
It didn't even really look derailed. Luckily, it wasn't that. There's still safety things in play where the whole train's not going to fall off the track. But
right.
I felt stupid. They didn't get mad at me because I kind of explained the situation. But I broke down the ride.
That's awesome. I remember you telling me that story. Well, Kingsleymac, thank you for answering honestly. And you have now been known and completed the speedrun. Thanks for playing. Hey, I just want to give a special shout out to our patrons of the show. Because they give back to our show and community, they replace all the needed funds that would otherwise, we'd have to get from sponsors or advertisers. And all of that goes to support our production, our community management cost, our bots and our Discord. Everything just tends to add up over time. So a big thank you to all of our continuing patrons out there. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up for the Patreon community. There will be a Patreon episode coming out very soon. So keep an eye on your feeds and look for that to be out very soon. This will be an episode where we talk about all of the stuff that goes on in the background when we're not live streaming or getting ready for a show. So look for that as well. So a special quick shout out to our Dungeon Champion patrons. That's Technical, Raffi, Deadpool 1 Merc, and Darth Noodle. A thank you to our Raid Boss patrons. That's Jealous, Frostbite, and Amazing Taco King. Thank you all very much. So this week was kind of a chill show. Just hanging out, kind of talking amongst ourselves. Week 1 of Act 3 was... I don't know if I would say it was a letdown, but it definitely wasn't what I expected. But I think it was fine. I think we have several more weeks left before the final season wraps up, the final story of the season wraps up. So I'm curious to see how that ends. And like I say, I'm playing Iron Banner right now with my community, and I'm playing solo sometimes when I can as well. So I'm trying to get my emblem completed, and then the next step will be to get the shader the second time around. So that'll be my goal this weekend, playing Iron Banner. But what do you guys think, especially on the trials topic? I'm really curious, how many of you have tried the new revised Trials of Osiris? Because I thought it was a really good move that Bungie did this. And regardless of what some of the streamers out there think, I think it's a great thing. And, we do play for loot. This is a looter shooter. And the fact that Bungie respects your time playing Trials of Osiris, like on a weekend, you get rewards every game, win or lose or draw. And of course, if you do happen to get those 7 wins and make it to the final big giant chest at the end, you get more, like I said, you get more rewards than I've seen in any other activity in the game. I think that's a big win for Bungie. But I want to know what you guys think. We have the GDC feedback channel in our Discord. And if you're not in our Discord, where you been? Discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. Jump in, say hi. Usually a lot of our members will jump in and welcome you, including myself if I'm on. So jump in, give us some feedback on our GDC feedback channel. You can leave us questions for the show that we answer live on the show as well, and our podcast questions. We have voicemails. You can email us. I mean, there's all kinds of ways you can get in touch with us. But, like I said, real chill show this week. We thank everyone who showed up to our live show in Twitch, YouTube, and in our Discord server. And yeah, I'm just so happy. I see new members coming in our Discord and our community every week. It just reinvigorates the reason I even put this community together. I wanted to bring people together to play this game, Destiny, or something else. It doesn't have to always be Destiny game, but, I just thank all of you for sticking around all these years, still listening to the podcast. We've got a lot of new members coming in saying they're loving the show. And man, we love hearing that. That really fills our gas tank up. So thank you for that. On Saturday, after our live show already aired, Uncle Scumdeath sent me a Scumdeath's Corner. And, well, I'll just let it play.
Hello, welcome to Scumdeath's Corner. Well, unfortunately, this is going to be my last Scumdeath's Corner. Through 3 or 4 podcasts, I've been doing this for 8 years now, 8 or 9 years. And today is the day I am going to retire Scumdeath's Corner. It's been fun. Oh, it's been nuts speaking to loads of people, giving you all the troubles and strife that has gone through my life, and the ups and downs, and it's been incredible. The thousands of people I've met, and I can't do this. I don't know. All right. Shit's going down in my family, health and medical issues. So I have not been doing Scumdeath's Corners recently. I've dropped off because my life there's a lot of shit going on. So I'm just going to sort of end it here, and I'm just going to say, fucking hell. Just want to say, thanks to everybody for everything they've ever done, and just thanks to all the podcasters who's had me. I'm sorry, it cut off for some reason, Gator. Yeah, but get on, people. It's been fantastic. I've loved every minute of it, and knowing all you guys. I'm still going to be in the Discord and that, but I'm just not going to be doing the Scumdeath's Corners anymore. But it's been so long since I've done one, I suppose. So all the new people in the Discord, and you're going to know who I am. But yeah, you know who I am, all the old guys and the old geezers and the old girls. Yeah, I'm going to sign off. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a blast. God, it's not an ending. It's a beginning. It's always a beginning, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to go out in a big blast. An open top bus parade walking down the street past all your houses saying Scumdeath is retiring. Oh my God. I don't know. Anyway, thank you ever so much for having me over all these years. I know some people are probably still listening to this from the first time I did it. So I love you all, and peace out. And yeah, come on.
Remember, we're Guardian Downcast, your stories, your community, and your destiny. And be good to your fellow Guardians in the Destinyverse.
The weight of the world was on your shoulders, and still you triumphed. Marvelous.
Thank you all so very much for listening. Really. And later, Guardian. Gang, that is it. That is our show. Thank you for chiming in tonight, whether you're on Discord, whether you're on YouTube, or in the Twitch channel. Appreciate everyone chiming in and talking and giving us feedback tonight on everything that we've been going through. And yeah, overall, maybe a slight disappointment this week, but let's see what happens next week. And I guess they're still trying to fix the puzzles going on with the marathon tweet or teaser that they put out there. People are trying to figure out what the puzzle means and stuff. So who knows? We may know something totally different next week. And if something comes up, we'll definitely mention it next week's show. So next week it is Kingsley and I again. So we'll be here the same time, same place, kids, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time next Thursday night. So thank you for stopping by. Thanks for listening to the show, and we'll see you in the Discord. Later, Guardian.
Have a good one.
Right, mate. What's your loadout, innit?
Hey, wait a minute. Is that average Destiny 2 player? Who's speaking?
Yeah, that was me.
No, you're Hades, right?
Come on, Gator, get it together.
Mr. Monkey?
Are you listening? Can you hear me? Is this on?
Mr. Monkey?
No.
Oh, you're Mr. Monkey. Well,
Yeah, of course I am. No, what do you mean? I'm not Mr. Monkey.
wait a minute. Who's average Destiny 2 player? I can't hear him.
I'm over here. Can you not see me?
I'm Mr. Monkey.
No, you're average Destiny 2 player.
Listen, I'm Hades.
Kind of wrong about that.
There you go.